Low key, you gotta get more views. I don't know if I just joined at the wrong time, but this seems so high quality. Yeah, I just started streaming literally a minute, 29 seconds ago. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just gonna be me and you for the rest of this live. How sad it'll be. We could talk about our feelings and stuff. Saw a bird today. I hope it was a cool looking bird, I guess. Hope it was a big bird. Anti-feminist. Give an example. All right. Men should be leading in relationships, women should be following. Marriage, men should be leading, women should be submitting. Men should be masculine, women should be feminine. Women should want to desire motherhood as opposed to a career. These to me sound like good values to have as opposed to the feminist ones, which is do whatever the hell you want without any consequence. Tsukabishi,
Yeah, hello.
what's going on? What's your age?
18.
What brings you up today?
So you said that in relationships and in marriage that men should be leading and women should be the ones following. Where do you get this standard from? From what worldview?
Christian. But I think it still makes a lot of
Okay.
sense as far as outside of a religion.
No, it wouldn't make sense at all outside of a religion.
It wouldn't make sense at all. All right,
No.
here's how it will, and I want you to explain how it won't. When it comes to responsibilities, it's good to have clear responsibilities as opposed to ones that are hidden. In a dynamic where there's a leader and a follower, there's clear responsibility, clear accountability, clear authority. What is your counterexample, or your counter to that?
Yeah, you don't have responsibilities under atheism.
You don't have responsibilities under atheism.
No, that's why the framework doesn't work under atheism.
The framework doesn't work under atheism. Here's a responsibility that an atheist would have.
I also don't know if it works under your worldview.
The atheist woman would have a responsibility, given that her man is generally going to be stronger than her. She would expect this man. So if I could just finish, she would expect this man to protect her from usually men who are going to be potential dangers. That would be an expectation, and that would therefore be a responsibility on that man, without a religion.
No, expectations aren't responsibilities, but I'm gonna know where the
Obviously
responsibility comes from.
The responsibility comes from
But if you
capability.
agree with me that, what's the argument for that?
Men are stronger than women, generally speaking. Is that true or false?
So what?
So therefore, men are going to have expectations or responsibilities revolved around their capability. You don't have to have a religion for that.
No, we did say that they can have the capability for it. I want to know where the responsibility part comes in.
Capability.
So it's circular.
No, it's not, because they're not the same word. If you're physically more capable, if you're physically more capable than someone, then you're generally going to be expected to be responsible in a particular way due
Just
to your
because you're
capability.
expected to do something doesn't mean that you're actually responsible for that thing. You're responsible for the care of that person or the protection of the individual. So
Are you
where do
talking
you get
about
the responsibility
Are
from?
you talking about actual responsibility or how someone would perceive it?
Responsibility. So like you have a
I'm asking
moral
you a
duty in
question.
order to do this thing. I did. I answered it.
Is it objective or is it subjective? I'm asking you.
Responsibility would be objective in my paradigm. It would be subjective in the atheist paradigm, which is the reason that it wouldn't work.
1 second. Whoa. Well, what brings you up?
Uh, I don't know if you remember me. I've been up here a while back.
With a name like Whoa. Not sure if I remember you. Are you
Oh yeah,
are
yeah.
you a feminist,
It's
Whoa?
good. Uh, I mean, to some extent, kind of. Yeah. I don't know if you. I I guess the best way to describe myself, I would be like I told you, like a true gender or sex egalitarian. I see a lot of issues with the modern feminist movement. I don't think a lot of quote unquote feminists are actually feminists. Um, I don't know if you heard me before. I don't know if you can remember based off that.
No, you'd have to drum up perhaps the conversation we had. Maybe it would make jog my memory. But if
That's
you're
good. It was a while back. I think it was at least like a month or two ago, like a month and a half ago, I think, something like that.
all right.
But I'll will drop actually.
All right, no problem. Any other questions or contentions, feel free to come back up. Whiplash, what brings you up?
I'm just kind of just I don't know. I don't really understand your view on feminism. Like, do you think feminism as a whole is bad?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What about it specifically? How would equality for all be bad under the feminist worldview?
Equality for all is usually a prescription, right? You agree with that?
I guess so.
Well, I don't agree with it as a description that we're not all equal. So that would start with my first suspicion of feminism. Because men and women are not equal as far as capability goes. We have different capabilities. But whether we should be a certain thing, I haven't been convinced of any feminist arguments.
Well, I think there's a huge difference between, you should do this and you have the freedom to do this.
Freedom?
And yeah, like, you believe a man should be in a masculine role all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a woman shouldn't, because women have the freedom to be in masculine roles. Therefore, I don't really see a big of a problem with it when it comes especially to relationships.
So when it comes to relationships, if you just want to confine the feminist view on relationships as things would be better off egalitarian, is that the position you hold?
No, I don't really have anything against people that want a traditional relationship. I just believe that there are definitely relationship dynamics out there that work, just as well as a traditional relationship, regardless of a masculine or feminine role. And I don't really understand, especially in today's world and, social media and all that, where like everybody is pushing, you need a traditional relationship, if you want to be happy, but that's not really the case.
Well, I think happiness is a bit too subjective of a metric to try and argue for. But real quick, Youssef, what brings you up, Youssef? Youssef. All right, so happiness is not particularly what I would prioritize as far as relationship, especially when we're looking at societal impact. I think happiness can be very subjective. Like, a person might not wake up happy. They might have slept wrong. They might be in a bad mood.
I mean,
Uh,
happy is in they are secure in their relationship and, they trust their partner. They trust their partner enough to want to build a future with them.
okay, well, you would prioritize that better, more than trust, right? I mean, more than happiness, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not happy in the way I described in your relationship, then why have one at all?
Well, one could be secure in their relationship but not happy. They could trust that their husband or wife would do the things that they vowed, and they view them as a person of high integrity, but perhaps they think they can be an asshole a lot, or
Then
they
that's
have
on the partner.
disagreements. Yeah, but a person can still do their duties, and you can trust them to do that and feel secure in that. You guys can butt heads often. That doesn't mean that
But
they're not going to do their duty as you would expect them to. So we're just I'm trying to come to an agreement with you that happiness really isn't like the end all be all as a relationship in your own words. Security being a better prioritization.
I don't know. I feel like we definitely have different definitions of what happiness is in a relationship, and I kind of put happiness and trust together. Like when I see a healthy relationship, I don't see a traditional one per se. I see one where both are secure and trust their partners. I guess I should have specified that.
Okay. So when it comes to security, are we just talking about your state of mind and how you perceive it in that relationship, or are we talking about security holistically? Like, is the relationship going to fail, or is the relationship secure from outside influence? What type of security are we talking about?
Security from the opinions of others, societal norms, the ones that I believe that you want to push, such as traditionals. Secure from, of course, other people that would maybe push your partner in the direction of cheating or something like um, secure in the way, and like how compatible you both are, like each other well enough to know that you can have conversations a certain way without getting out of hand. You can make decisions together without it getting out of hand. You can do normal things that you could do if you were single without getting out of hand with a partner.
I don't tend to disagree with what you're saying at this moment. But as far as the dynamics go, you're going to take more of an approach that there shouldn't really be any. Do you personally think in society, would it be better if there are no roles, there are no hierarchical roles? Would that, you think a better society would be that way?
No, I think there should be roles. I just think we have a different idea of what those roles should be.
Well, when I say roles, I say like a hierarchical dynamic where someone's going to be deferring to another as far as authority goes. Like when you think of who,
James, why did I see you on Orange Pornhub last night?
that's pretty gay. So, anyways, when it comes to the roles I'm talking about hierarchy, I think it would be a better society where there are roles understood and there's deference of power laid to another, meaning someone would be submitting or getting the final say. I think that would be a better and more efficient relationship dynamic than where there's shared authority. What do you think about that?
So you think that there should be, the one making the decisions and the other submitting, right?
Yeah, that would be a better scenario than the equal partnership thing.
I think that's just kind of one-sided in the relationship. Like you have a relationship of a man who has taken his traditional role, that you believe, and he's making a decision, and his woman, she just has to like suck it up and go along. Do you really think that most of these women in traditional roles don't build resentment towards their husbands who are in traditional roles because maybe their husbands really don't care about what they have to say?
Well, that would be based on your idea that men are not considering what their woman is asking, particularly their wife, as far as matters of high importance where a decision needs to be made. They would definitely be looking to their wife for counsel. But when you're talking about resentment, I mean, sure, there could be resentment built for a number of things. How about resentment built on the fact that there's no clear roles and people could be more dominating in a relationship. Let's just say it's an equal partnership. And a person says, hey, I'm not the follower, you're not the leader, we're just going to do this together. But resentment can be bred if a person's more dominating or domineering of a personality, such that they win a lot of arguments or discussions or compromise. So, I mean, resentment is not solved in your dynamic either. And resentment can be bred for a number of reasons. It doesn't mean the system is bad.
There's definitely, things wrong with the both. But I feel like with a, relationship with her, without traditional roles, they're just like, we're just going to do this together. I think that, builds more on the relationship. Like you have more trust in that person because you can go to that person and make a high importance decision with them. You can go to that person and, talk about your feelings with them without them just being like, oh, well, I think this way and that's what we're going to go with.
So talking about your feelings, you can do that in a relationship where the man is leading. A man can talk about his feelings and vice versa with the woman. That doesn't
Yes,
mean
the
therefore
point is,
that
I
the
believe it
that doesn't
works.
mean therefore that the woman that doesn't mean therefore that the man is he's still afforded that. I'm explaining to you. You're acting as if it's not a thing in relationships where men or women are submitting to men. You're acting like this isn't a thing. Hey, I don't like this. This makes me feel sad. Hey, this makes me angry. That doesn't mean you don't have to do what you're told or don't have to do what I'm saying. And another thing that you're kind of framing it is as if the woman is not agreeing or committing or vowing to this type of relationship. No one's trying to put these women in a headlock to do these things. Like I don't have the idea that we need to pull women by their ears. If they're going to submit to such a long-term commitment, or they make vows to submit, that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about forcing anyone to do it. So back to your problems with go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I think you do realize that there is definitely a bad rap, especially with traditional relationships, because the early days, we did force these women to marry these men in traditional roles, and therefore it creates a lot of backlash and cluster among these social media platforms, especially today. And I guess that's what I'm going off of here. But I mean, everything kind of goes out the window if you're both consenting to the dynamics of the relationship. But I think the bigger question here is why feminism is bad.
Well, it's interesting you brought up how people have a bad rep about it because of feminism. Feminism has an express intent to demean and degrade and marginalize the position because they view it as oppressive. But this is just a bias at this point because
you've forcing women to be in a relationship with a traditional man.
So you and I just agreed that it was consensual, right? You and I just agreed that it was consensual. Yeah, and for you saying it's forced, what is your evidence of that? What's your evidence that people were forced by a barrel of a weapon or someone was put into a headlock to do X? What's your evidence of that?
You do understand we're not just talking about the U.S. here, right?
All right, so I'm talking about the West here and how I observe feminism to apply to the Western civilization. I have no interest in any other systems at this point because I don't live there. I'm sure you live in the West, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm making a case for anti-feminism in the West. So.
Okay. What? I'm not stating my opinion on this just yet, but what is what is different about feminism in the West, and why is it wrong compared to feminism with the rest of the world?
So you want me to explain to you feminism in the okay. When we're talking about feminism, we're talking about, we have to define it. It's a movement of equality amongst the sexes, moving away from patriarchy, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't view moving away from patriarchy being good in any scenario. In most scenarios, like I wouldn't say absolutely, but most scenarios, it would not be a good thing. I define the patriarchy as power from men to women as a collection to women. That's how I would define patriarchy. So if you define it that way, feminism is bad throughout most civilizations that we observe, and where most times feminism outside of the West is trying to be applied. So before you answer that, we're going to let you answer, but let's introduce Parmita.
Hello.
Hello, Parmita. You sound like a feminist.
Sure. Maybe to some people.
All right, thanks for coming up. Aya?
Yeah.
Hello, Aya. How's it going today? Are you a feminist? I think so.
Yeah, I come from Afghanistan and I know how bad we need feminism over there. And if you think we don't need a feminism, and I would like to describe how you think women under age of 6 cannot go to any school, women are not allowed to go to parks. I would like you to justify all of these and say that, okay, we don't need feminism in this case.
All right, great. I'll answer that. Zero, what's going on? Zen, the giver of wisdom.
What's up?
With such a name, I don't think you're a feminist.
I think you'll be surprised that you're
All
wrong.
right, cool. I'm outnumbered. No problem. I stand corrected. Thanks for the follow, 100. Thanks for the follow, user. Thanks for the follow, Zen. Even though I was totally incorrect. Wrong profiling. Would everyone in the chat do me a favor and get the likes up here? I'm currently outnumbered. If you guys want to see Bloodsport, let's get it popping here. See, cheese. Earth. Yes, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Are you for or against the prompt?
I am against it.
All right, great. So the question that was posed to me before I introduced everyone was from Aya. Was it Aya?
Yeah, it's Aya.
Aya. Given that women are not able to drive or given education, particularly since a regime change in Afghanistan, why would I oppose feminism? Well,
You would, yeah.
so when it comes to how I was defining it with Whiplash, we're talking about how I would define the patriarchy. The patriarchy is how I would define men as a collection holding power and giving it to women, or it flows from men to women.
Mm-hmm.
So I only see systems that can overthrow such things, like giving women the ability to go to school, which they were able to do over here in America before suffrage. I would say the only mechanism that can really do that is patriarchal mechanisms. Other groups of men overthrowing and creating new establishments that are giving better laws and more rights or more privileges to women. That would be how I would say we don't need feminism for that. Because feminism is men and women being equal, but a patriarchal system where I'm going to be fighting and perhaps dying to change a regime, that is patriarchy is needed for that.
So how would you say that the government is still involved, like the regime is still not doing anything? It's been, the regime changed after 2021, and until now, 2023, it's still going on. And what makes you think the patriarchal regime doesn't care about women? You were
That
saying
current
that-
one? That current
Yeah.
one, yeah, it probably doesn't. But that doesn't speak to my Western civilization, particularly the way Americans treat women. We treat them differently, but we treated them differently under patriarchal systems better than ones in the Middle Eastern. That's been a thing for at least
Oh.
200-300 years now. I mean, obviously, probably longer. I mean, if you want to go back to how women were treated. How about this? Outside of Islam, maybe the Zoroastrians and the Iranians before Islam, maybe obviously they had better treatment. like in Iran particularly. But
Yeah.
those patriarchies would be better than Sharia law and a caliphate, right?
Yeah, but you do understand why the whole system collapsed because of the American trying to invade these Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah, but that would be geopolitical and economic. That wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with the patriarchy. It would just be
Patriarchal.
it would be one patriarchy against another. That's how it's always been. It has never been matriarchies against others. They can't really stand a fight against patriarchies. So the reason why I bring that up is because you asked me the question about how would feminism be able. Why is feminism not needed? I'm explaining to you because there could be an easier route of another patriarchy just supplanting it or overthrowing it, and then getting it done better to where a new patriarchy could be instated and have better rules and privileges for women.
I
No
think
feminism needed.
Yeah, I think if matriarchy is in charge, there wouldn't be like thousands of countries in this world. Like basically, we see how like the more patriarchal we get, the more country there are involved. Like there are more segregation. Of, okay, my country, your country, my religion, your religion. But if it's matriarchy, there wouldn't be even too many people. Why do we need 2 billion people in any country? Why do
All
we
right,
need?
there's a lot of points there. But perhaps we could steer away from the population.
That's
I want to.
yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting question, but I want to really answer the first one about if matriarchies were here, there wouldn't be any wars or there wouldn't be any conflict. Well, I'm not so sure of that. I haven't really been convinced of that with any evidence, but also matriarchies generally are not capable of coming to such power where it's equal to a patriarchal state of affairs, because how I'm defining patriarchy. A patriarchy is, I'll get in further into it. A patriarchy is a system, once again, where the power is concentrated at a collection of men to the women. And that's how the power flows. And I'm explaining this to further define how rights come about. How rights, as we observe them in most civilizations, are, well, they're just force.
Yeah.
Rights
Well,
are something that you believe you have. It comes from your perspective, your beliefs, your axioms, your religion, your morals. But outside of that social thing, that construct in your head, your only ability to enforce, bring it about, or defend it is through force. And men collectively are the only ones that can do that compared to women. Women cannot enforce their rights on their own. So this is the patriarchy I'm talking about. So when you tell me, hey, well, matriarchies would do X, I'm saying matriarchies can't even defend themselves from savage men,
Ooh,
colonist men. They can't do that.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how you brought up that subject that only force can do that, and matriarchy feminism basically stand for the like right of a woman. Like if a woman doesn't want it, nobody can face it. You see how like after the women were banned from education, the Afghan government doesn't talk about it, but a lot of like unaliving themselves happened. A lot of women unalive themselves. Like you were saying, okay, you know what? I will force to get married to you and have thousands of bunch of children.
Mm-hmm.
But well, the woman is not alive, so who are you gonna create the society with?
Yeah. So we're talking about Afghanistan, right?
Oh,
Are we?
so
Is that
that's
the? Is that
different
the?
over there.
I'm just asking you. What society are you talking about? Where women are ending their lives in such a vast rate? What society are we talking about here?
South Korea.
That's literally still happening over there. Like with the children,
In
studying
Afghanistan.
for like yeah, like studying college, university, spending their whole life educating themselves just to know that they're not allowed to work anymore, just to know that their dreams were false, just to know that they're of course this is a huge shock for women, and some women couldn't handle it and they unalived themselves in a mass number that the government refused to recognize because they don't want the world to know that there are women unaliving themselves. So you thinking that okay, force can do that, only men can do that, force can do that. So if a woman knows that this is what's happening in the world and that's how men are reacting to their needs, and what's good for a woman and what's not good for a woman, you think a woman would not know? Like, do you think we live in a bubble where
Yeah,
we're
I would counter with Saudi Arabia, where there's even stricter laws, or just as strict laws, probably not just as strict, but strict in a lot of senses, where feminists would take a. So real quick, just responding. when it comes to certain societies where there's even stricter, more authoritarian religious enforcement of gender roles or morality, a lot of those Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia have the women report happier outcomes. So perhaps some women are not going to like it, but a lot will, and a lot will go along. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that all women are going to like patriarchal systems, but there's a case to be made for higher birth rates or good birth rates, sustainable birth rates in countries where there's even more patriarchal strict enforcement like Saudi Arabia, where the women are happy.
Yeah, and patriarchy, basically what patriarchy needs is a higher birth rate. Is that?
Well, all societies need a higher birth rate. It's not exclusive to patriarchal systems. The only way a society can survive is with birth rates that are sustainable.
Yeah, but some societies don't even contribute to like the earth that much. For instance, all they do is eat meat and 24/7 and drive cars and build buildings and destroy jungles and deforestation and all that. So the only matriarchy cares about those. I've only seen women and feminists care about like the earth and the global warming, and men don't seem to care about those things
All
because
right.
they are particularly.
All right, can I jump in here, please?
Yeah, before you jump in, let me just before you jump in, let me just address some people in the chat here. Tracy, thanks for the follow. This guy says he see women as property. No, the argument I'm making is that in reality, if men wanted women as property, there's nothing they can do about it outside of appealing to other men to protect them. That's the entire point. That's the patriarch I'm talking about. So the floor is open. Let me just introduce the next guest up. And then we'll just, real quick, we're just going to introduce the next guest up. Just replied. Is it William Shatner?
Yeah, it's really me.
No, I know William Shatner's voice. Are you a feminist, or just replied?
No, well, it depends on what age or wave whatever you want to call it.
Okay, well, the floor is open. A lot has been said.
I was going to add one thing.
Can I just jump in here? I want to ask you a question. Would you say that the Old Testament is patriarchal?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because are we talking about the state of Israel in the Old Testament?
No, like the Old Testament, like the the foundational structures of how an old society how society operates according to the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So would you say that it's patriarchal?
Yeah, because the men were enforcing the rights. The men were enforcing the state of affairs. The men enforced the kingdom. That's how it was.
All right, but what rights did you have under the Old Testament?
I'm not. Maybe there wasn't really a conception of rights like that back then.
Exactly. So you didn't have rights in that society.
Yeah, but you still had laws and state of affairs like code of ethics or Mosaic covenants. You had ordinances that you had to follow, and if you didn't, there would be enforced by men, right?
Yeah, but you had compliance, right? You had structures that enforced compliance.
Yep.
And so that's what we call laws, right?
Yep.
Laws are not inherently good or bad. They're mainly venues of compliance, right? And in a system like the one in the Old Testament or other ones around that time, compliance was enforced, right? And you had, right, a system which I guess you agree would be patriarchal. So I wanted to ask you, what about it makes it patriarchal?
The men enforcing the state of affairs, the laws, the bylines, the ethics, that would be patriarchal.
What about property?
What about it?
Like the continuity of property in the Old Testament.
It would have been enforced by men.
What do you mean by enforced by
If
men?
If somebody steals your property, if if it goes to judges or.
Sorry, I meant the continuity, meaning, right? If you wanted to keep your land, there is a system of inheritance, right? And the inheritance goes through the patriarchal line, let's say.
Uh-huh.
right? Not through the woman's line. The woman was essentially given to another man, right? So if you're a father and you have a household, your sons inherit your land, not the women.
Okay.
And there's
Yeah,
even
that sounds like a
case in the
patriarchy to me.
Yeah, there's a case in the Old Testament where there's a girl who's doesn't have any brothers. There's a case in the Old Testament where there's a girl who
Sorry about
doesn't
that.
have any brothers.
Hey, Pokemon, you
I
gotta.
want to jump in here real quick.
No,
Well, hold on. You gotta let Wisdom give his point. You gotta let Wisdom give his point.
Like whoever was speaking before me, but you didn't make any argument that progressed, and so I've studied.
Hey, be nice to the other feminists, even though I would like you guys to infight. Go ahead, Wisdom.
I'm not
Continue.
trying- I just want to jump
Aya, hold
into-
on. Aya, it's Wisdom's turn. It's Wisdom's turn.
So I wanted to ask you one more question, okay? Which is because we agree that the Old Testament's patriarchal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you agree that some societies are more patriarchal than others?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be like patrilineity versus matrilineity, but I'm still talking about a base level of patriarchal patriarchy.
Right. But we agree that a major component of patriarchy is the continuity of property, right?
I'm not so sure because at this point I'm just talking about how can property even come about? How can it even? So there's property, right? It's kind of like a social contract. Like I can agree, and a person to my neighbor can agree that we're just going to respect this. But if one of us doesn't, the patriarchy is what will keep us in check. That's what enforces it.
All right. So the question is, right, that I would ask you is, why is the continuity of property through a male line to their sons specifically, right? Like, if I, let's say, rape a woman and impregnate her, and she's not my wife, and and then she has a boy, that boy is not going to get my property. There's a very specific rule about which boys from which mothers can inherit property.
Okay.
So that is one foundational, structure to what is a patriarchal society. And the reason is because that is the economic engine of that society, right? Patriarchy is an economic system where absolute control over property across generations, right, is what keeps the system going. So if you have men, right, that don't get this, they're not going to want to participate in the system. Okay, and actually, I don't know if you know this, but in the Old Testament, you couldn't even sell land; you could only lease it.
All right. There may be economic components and functional, cross-generational components, like giving property and restrictions around economic practice for property, but that still mean, regardless, under that.
Sure.
Without the patriarchal system, I'm explaining that I'm defining most systems to be patriarchal. There could not be any of that, not a damn thing. Because if there was no policeman, or if there was no guard to enforce a resolution to a dispute, or whether or not a person should be selling or leasing land, if there were no men to force that compliance, there would not be any system.
Oh, of course.
All right, so then I'm
I'm
not sure where this is going, and I'm not sure how it's. I'm not sure how.
Here's
Here's the thing. I'm not sure how it's relevant. I'm not sure how it's relevant. Please. Okay, so please explain how it's relevant
Well,
to whether or not. Please explain how it's relevant to whether.
I will.
So what am I saying relevant to? What is after that? What's after that? No. Before you start, I want you to finish my sentence. Please explain to me how it's relevant to, because you obviously know what I'm about to say. What am I about to say?
You're gonna ask me how is this relevant to the argument, the idea of property, right?
No, my argument has nothing to do with property.
No, mine. Yours is only about physical defense, right? You don't really understand.
No,
what
it's not just
patriarchy is.
about physical defense.
You don't-
It's
you
about
don't really
enforcement.
understand what
It's about the fundamental prop up of laws, rights, contracts, constitutions. That's what I'm explaining. So explain to me how it's relevant.
Agreed that you don't have rights in the Old Testament, right? You only have compliance.
But it doesn't have to be rights. It can be a law you want to enforce. It can be a custom that you want to enforce. It doesn't have to be rights.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what compliance is about. And in the modern world, we have a concept of rights, we have a concept of citizens, and we have a concept of compliance, right? Like, for example, right now the courts in the US are trying to figure out how do you deal with a person that's trans, right? Because the system hasn't really had to deal with that before now, but that's irrelevant, right? We're talking about foundationally what is patriarchy, right? And foundationally, you said it, like the foundation of patriarchy is a group of men that establish a system of compliance, right?
Yeah, whether it be laws
Now,
or
this
rights
includes
or customs.
this includes property. This includes, you know, things of economic value. Right.
Sure.
So in the Old Testament system, a woman couldn't accumulate property in any meaningful way. So the question is why? Why can a woman do that in the patriarchal system?
Women can do that in a patriarchal system. Perhaps if I just grant your entire argument on your historical perspective on the Bibles, how the Bible wouldn't allow women, so what?
Okay,
It's still,
so in the United
why is
States,
not
when do
relevant.
women start acquiring property
Okay.
legally?
Here's how why. I'll answer your why. Because men said it's going to be that way, and women had no recourse outside of appealing
Okay.
to other men.
Exactly. That's right. So,
Wait, Zen.
but
Then-
you have to explain why it is that in a patriarchal system you don't want the women to own property.
All right, so making a case for what is and how it is, I don't have to make any moral prescriptions at this moment.
It's not moral.
You must
It's not
contend.
moral.
You must
It's
contend.
not moral. I never said
So why
anything about
shouldn't?
morality.
Why should not? Is a ought claim.
No, it's not.
You're saying why ought
But
one
that's
thing
not
be
moral.
one way
That's
or
not-
not? That's a
I'm not saying
normative
that
claim you're
women
making.
Should, from a moral perspective, own
Hmm.
property. What I'm saying is, in a patriarchal
Okay,
system,
functionally, or
right?
for the sake of prosperity, or for the sake of a good system, for the sake of sustainability.
No,
It's
I'm
still
not
a
saying
normative
that.
argument.
I'm only asking
So don't
you
use why should or should not.
why
You're
can't
bringing.
women own a property. It's an explanation. How do you rationalize the legitimacy of a system?
Why can't I just explained it to you? Because they can't protect it from other men. I just explained it to you.
So I was going to add one thing real quick, Zen. So modern rights aren't maintained by every individual personally possessing enough strength to enforce them. They're maintained by collective institutions. So a 100-pound man doesn't lose his rights because a 200-pound man could overpower him, right? Kids have rights despite having zero capacity to military enforce them, right? People who are old have rights. People who are disabled have rights. Their rights aren't conditional on personally winning a fight. The Force Doctrine is the most caveman approach to like philosophy I ever heard in my entire life.
Caveman is not an argument. So I mean, let's hear your actual argument.
No, caveman argument. So if your principle really is like the group capable of supplying the most correct course of force, the group from which everybody else rights flow, that's not an argument for patriarchy. That's an argument for might makes right.
No, it's not. It's a mischaracterization. Might makes is as far as it goes. It's as far as my argument goes. Am I making it a right at the moment? That it's a should be. I just explained to you how it is. So
Exactly what inference?
here's how it is. Here's how it is. Regardless of the society most societies that we can observe that are civilized, that have a level of government and customs and compliance and parliaments or representation, democratic or not, monarchy, whatever, it's patriarchal. And the patriarchy, as I'm describing it, is based on force doctrine. So what is your argument against that caveman? What is your argument against that?
I would disagree that those are not patriarchal.
Okay, so now you're disagreeing with my definition now.
Yeah, that's
All right,
not
so
actually-
explain to me how men having a monopoly on force, a collection of men having a monopoly on force, how is that not patriarchal? Please explain.
Okay, so how you see how Christianity come from, and basically it's matriarchal. Would you disagree that it's not?
Christianity is not matriarchal; it's patriarchal.
And okay, do you think that it's the most backward? I would consider it matriarchy. It doesn't matter what you consider it.
All right. Well, what is your evidence for that? Because here's my evidence how it's not. I'll start from the Old Testament and I'll go to the New. In the Old Testament, the way God set up his laws and the way God dealt with people was through men first. God being identified as a man, God being identified as a father, a patriarch, and all power flows from him. It's interesting. This is a patriarchy that I'm defining at this moment. But I digress. So back to the Old Testament. Not only was it how God morally dealt with people was through man, a man, or men, the institutions that he brought about, like the state of Israel, was patriarchal. Patriarchal, how I'm defining it exactly. The men having the power to enforce the state of affairs, having to do the wars, having to do the Levitical law, having to enforce the ordinances. These were all done by men. This is a patriarchal system. Please explain to me how it's matriarchal before we continue.
Basically, you know, Jesus, where he come from. Basically, he in a human
The
flesh.
Virgin Mary, yes.
Yeah, he come from a Virgin Mary that's literally never been touched by a man.
Okay. So how does it speak against the patriarchy I've described?
So basically, I know as a woman, even Mary herself, she was the first woman to ever enter the temple, and everything, like her whole stance, where she was more like siding towards women and their rights and how.
What are you talking about?
You know, I'll get there. But my biggest argument right now will be that you're saying patriarchy, everything comes from men, and men are the one who's enforcing it. But back in Egypt, you see how Egyptian was like one of the most successful civilization ever. But then the Israelites went against it. Even then, they were slaves, right? They went against it and say that this is we don't need that patriarchy. We need this patriarchy. So how would you describe those two patriarchy? Do you think one is more patriarchal than the other, or do you think a woman should jump in and say, okay, you know what?
You're bringing up Egypt. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Old Testament, or are we talking about Egypt at this moment?
Ancient Egyptian, literally, I'm talking about.
I mean, we used to, the Israelites would war with Egypt.
No,
I'm not understanding your question. Which is more patriarchal? Based on how I'm defining it, they're one could be more patriarchal than the other. I'm not so sure, but they still are patriarchal. I don't understand how this is relevant. Please explain to me. Please explain to me how is this relevant to disproving that that Christianity. Can you explain to me? Can you explain to me how this is relevant regarding how this proves that Christianity is matriarchal? Can you please explain?
Basically, where Jesus come from.
So Jesus came from Mary. So a woman created him like every woman, like every person, every man was created by women. I don't understand. So because Jesus was created, or Jesus came from a woman's womb, just like every other patriarch in the past. Therefore, this is a matriarchy. Do you see how that doesn't follow?
Mary just a vessel for like creating. You will consider her a birthing people, like a trans person would say.
I would consider her a woman. I would consider her a woman.
Okay, good to know that at least you consider her as a woman.
Yeah, I'm trans. I'm TERF. I'm a TERF through and through. If anyone made me a feminist by gunpoint, I would be a TERF. You're correct. But how is this relevant? How is this relevant?
I hope.
All right. Well, at this point, you haven't really made any case for how Christianity is a matriarchy.
I know you're anti-feminist,
Christianity tells the women to submit to their husbands, right?
Patriarchal system, right? White wisdom.
Christianity does that, right?
Patriarchy, right? Yes, they do.
Like in Christianity, the man is the head of the household, right?
In Christianity, the woman can't even teach in church with authority over men.
Yeah, right. And
patriarchy.
The church leadership is men.
So you and wisdom, are we lockstep here, wisdom?
Okay, Catholic. I would say Catholic. I was gonna say Catholic, but I came as Christianity.
Yeah, but what about Eastern Orthodox?
Catholics are patriarchal. Eastern Orthodox is patriarchal. Lutheran is patriarchal. Anglican is patriarchal.
The original Greek English church. I forgot the name for it.
Anglican?
Which is Anglican, right, or whatever.
Or Puritan, patriarchal. These are all patriarchal systems.
I don't want to be rude to you, but you really don't know what is patriarchy. No offense.
So
the host is 100% right that the fundamental bootstrapping of patriarchy is the monopoly of violence in the hands of men. It's 100% true. And the next point is how that monopoly of violence is structured with a male leader at the top. Usually it was a king. And if you look at the Old Testament, right, when the Israelites entered Israel, at first their so-called patriarch leader was like Moses, right? And then it was Joshua. And then eventually you had a king, right?
Hmm.
Things start, and it's literally about violence. Like the reason why the Jews asked God for a king, or whatever the Israelites asked God for a king, was because they were losing a war to the, what were they called? The Philistines. Okay, and then they got their king, but in the Old Testament, one of the prophets says to the people, if we give you a king, the king is going to tax you, he's going to make you work, and he's going to make you fight his wars, right? And that's exactly what happened after he built the kingdom. So this is patriarchy 101. Like, you have to know these things, no offense.
Okay, Mr. I know you're right, and I understand that you're right, but hear me out. Catholic people are not anti-feminist. I can definitely 100% like tell you that for sure they're not anti-feminist. Most of the Catholics, and what I would say that Mary was a woman prophet basically.
A woman
Yeah,
prophet. I'm not even sure.
No, there
Okay.
was a female
Yeah.
prophet in the Old
Yeah,
Testament.
but there were
that's fine.
prophets who were
Cleopatra,
female.
she was a woman. Cleopatra was a woman.
No, there was a female prophet
She
in
was
the
a
Old
king,
Testament, but
literally.
that doesn't make the argument. Like, even after the exile of the Israelites, right, into Babylon, the leaders were men, right, in exile. Like, there's always a hierarchy being formed around men, and men enforcing rules of compliance.
Exactly. I don't disagree with that, but
Okay, but then you have to then
the
let's.
person giving order was never a woman.
Yeah, but, that
But
only
that's not
happened,
the
like, once or
argument.
twice. It
Oh yeah,
wasn't
that's not the argument. That's not the argument. The argument.
That is the argument.
But
against
I can
anti-feminism.
acknowledge Esther being a prominent religious figure in the Old Testament, but that doesn't make the system not patriarchal. I can acknowledge the fact that women were the ones who gave the primary or the first witness to Jesus being out of his tomb, but that doesn't make the system matriarchal. There's women, there's matrilinity and deference to women sometimes in the Bible. That doesn't make the system matriarchal.
Basically, you're saying women are worthless.
This is completely bad faith. Perhaps you don't speak English. I don't know if it's a English thing or what, but you just completely. Not only are we lost in translation, it's made me question whether or not you're able to even translate the words into your brain that I'm talking right now.
I understand what you're coming from.
Yeah, so basically you hate women. It's like it's completely bad faith. How do you say bad faith in your language, ma'am? Could you tell me that?
Yeah, basically, I understand what you said.
How do you say bad faith in your language before we continue? Bad faith. You're not being charitable in a debate. How would you
bad iman.
Bad iman.
Yeah.
Bad iman. Ah, yeah. So
no, I'm not bad iman.
So
I understand what you're coming from. That without like army, even a woman couldn't, like, most of the army people were men. Like, but
all right. So then what's
patriarchal.
it doesn't make it patriarchal. So how? Please, before we get into that, Aya, 1 second. Let me just introduce the next guest. Preacher of hell.
Yo.
What's going on?
Not much. I just in the heat of the debate, I'm here and I'm ready to talk about whatever we're talking about.
All right, feel free to jump rope in a second. Jump rope in. Feminism is considered or is centered around the idea of destroying the patriarchy. It's inherently oppressed. Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, that would be one of feminism's sole axioms or assumptions. That's correct. Doesn't make it true. But yeah, I agree with you. For everyone in the chat, could we get these likes up to at least 1,500? I would appreciate it. It's going to help me get to some more opposition. I appreciate the likes, guys. And for everybody on the YouTube side, any comment you have, I'll allow to derail, even if it's a great question. What's going on, Outdoor? Hope you're doing well. Go ahead, man.
The only thing I wanted to say is, like, within the patriarchal system that you described, where you have the monopoly of violence, right? And then within that system, you have the hierarchy. Like, for example, in feudal societies, right? You have the lords, and then you have the people at the bottom, right? The men themselves are using each other to extract labor, right? So the men at the top are using the men at the bottom and using their monopoly of violence to force the men to work and do what they have to do, and even they're enforcing norms around, you know, having kids and reproduction and all of these things, right? So the idea that that within patriarchy all men are equal, it's not just about the men themselves having the power. It's about a subset of men having all the power.
That can still be the case, but I'm not making any case for equality. I don't believe in it. So I just know that
case for a patriarchal society.
Yeah, but here's one thing I do know. I know one thing. I can still hold two things, and they can still be true at the same time. Men and other men are not equal, but also women and men are especially not equal in the context of the monopoly of force. That's the case.
Yeah, but tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting the impression that in your patriarchal worldview, the interests of all men are aligned, where clearly the interests of the men at the top are the ones that are forced on everybody else, and the ones that don't, they're gonna pay a price essentially if they don't comply.
Okay, so whether or not my system, I don't see how my system has anything to do with the argument of whether men or women are equal. I don't see how that's relevant.
It makes sense. He did make sense with that question. And I
Oh,
can
then, so
explain it to you if you want.
Yeah, please explain to me.
Okay.
So are you? Let me just see if I understand. Let me see if I understand your question, Wisdom. You're asking, aren't you implying that in your system, men's goals or statuses will be aligned, and they'll be better than an egalitarian system? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the impression that I'm getting from your view of patriarchy is that the interests of all men are aligned, because you're making it seem like you have a monopoly of violence and like we're all equally getting what we want. But as it stands, that's not how how history shows how when men establish a monopoly of violence, things actually work out. You have a very small group of men that control the majority of the resources, right? And use their violence to essentially extract compliance and value, right? Through whether it's agriculture, whether it's manufacturing, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true. But what system are you pointing to? Because I'm trying to get a referent here of like, where other system is it not like that?
Today is not like that. The United States is not like that today.
Yeah, you have women exploiting men.
Because the state, right? The state
is built up of a monopoly of force on men, and women have more authority without responsibility to exploit that.
Yeah,
which men are you talking about?
The men who, if things are called to a draft, those men.
Okay, but there is no draft today, right? In the United States.
Wow. So what?
How does the United States enforce compliance, right?
The draft.
No, we don't.
Oh, really? The draft is not up?
If you tried to overthrow a Congress today, what would happen?
The military would beat you up.
Right.
Or a police officer would beat you up.
Right.
A collection of men.
Most likely men, yes.
Okay. So what's your point?
But those men that would do that have absolutely no power and decision-making power, right? Those men that are fighting in Iran right now, they are following the will and the authority of somebody above them, and they have to 100% comply with those orders.
Okay, mutinies and coups happen all the time. Hell, militaries break off or start rebelling all the time throughout all of history. How would America be any different?
That wouldn't happen in the U.S.
The inception of our entire country was based on a collection of force of men splitting from another. What are you talking about?
You think today someone's going to break the U.S. internally?
I'm making a case historically that it can happen.
Sure, it can happen.
Okay, so if it can happen, then how is that not a good evidence for what I'm explaining to you?
Well, just because something can happen doesn't mean that the probability of it happening is very high, right? It's true that societies historically, right, did experience dissipation over time, right? But today, the United States is what you call decentralized, right? So let's say that you went into the Capitol building, right? Like with a bunch of strong men did that, and they took over the building, and they said, the president needs to step down, or let's say that you bomb the White House, right? There is no central command center of how the United States works. Like the hierarchy is distributed, it's not centralized, and you can make use of it from anywhere in the world, right? Like it's a very powerful system that was designed
From
with
anywhere in the world?
intention.
Wow, you take out the internet. There is no cross communication.
They have a way of dealing when there's no internet, right? Like this whole system is designed.
So you're explaining. So right now you're explaining to me that there's no collection of men that can ever overthrow America. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
What? What?
Okay.
You are
Okay.
one of the most slow person in the room.
Damn, Aya slam dunk him. Aya's on my team now. Hold on now.
The modern state is designed for itself, not for the interests of men.
All right.
The
So
state is its own entity now. It's gone. It's
the state is
I've
this.
got a question, Zen.
That's crazy word.
The modern state is beyond people, where it's something that is going beyond what people used to do with societies even 200 years ago. Because 200 years ago, you could have decapitated George Washington and you would have destroyed the operation, right? But today in the US, centrality is not the way that it's managed. It's decentralized.
So you're incorrect on that. But Preacher had a question. Preacher had a question
think
for
I'm
you.
incorrect.
Zen, are you a communist?
Hell no.
Okay. Some of the things you're saying sound very communistic.
Sure, I mean,
from
if you
what
want to
I've
label me, go for
discussed
it.
with.
But I'm not. I mean, what I'm talking
No,
about
I'm just asking.
is
I'm just asking.
purely descriptive of how the modern state operates.
Yeah, well, that's
especially one as
incorrect.
powerful as the U.S.
The economy is centralized, right?
No, of course
It's
not.
not centrally
totally
planned. Okay,
decentralized.
so no, it is not. The Federal Reserve is a de facto monetary central planning system.
Okay, so what parts of the economy do they manage?
Interest rates.
Okay, besides monetary policy, first of all, they don't manage interest rates. The markets decide the interest rate.
Really? No, they don't. No, they don't. Because if the Fed
you don't know anything about
if the
the
Fed
economy?
decides that he wants to,
First,
if
you
he
don't
wants
know
to,
anything about
if the
patriarchy.
Fed decides
Now
he
you
wants
don't
to
know anything
inflate,
about how the economy
right? So
works.
here's how you're incorrect about the.
No,
All
look
right.
at the
So just
interest
let
rate.
me finish here real
Look
quick.
what happened on Liberation Day when Trump added the tariffs. The interest rate skyrocketed, and he was forced to chop down the tariffs. The same thing happened under Bill Clinton.
All
when he
right. So
first got
back
elected.
to what I'm explaining. You made the argument
Buddy,
that
go do
the
your
con-
homework.
All right. So wow, look at this scaredy cat. Look at this scaredy cat. Hey, you know what, Aya, I gotta give you your kudos because at least you didn't rage quit. I gotta give you your kudos.
I see why, like, they call us emotional. Women are emotional. Yeah, they call us
Well,
that
he was
we're
probably
weak.
just raised by a single mom. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So let me just debunk this thing right here. This guy says the America's decentralized. Our entire monetary policy is based on the bedrock of central planning by the Federal Reserve. When I explained to him that they control interest rates, he says they don't. Well, how is it that if I'm the government, or I'm sorry, if I'm the Fed and I can literally create money out of thin air to buy bonds and other securities to artificially lower interest rates, how is that not centralized?
That's why I asked him if he was a
That's
communist.
false. Literally,
'cause
he was
kept
saying
on.
a bunch of like nothing, and then he
Yeah.
said that the soldiers are not allowed to do anything, and basically they can if they find something like out of like value, they can on their own, they can do a lot.
Yeah, and so he doesn't know of anything of mutiny. He doesn't know anything of coup. He doesn't know anything of like people being disregarded that are of higher ranks. This happens sometimes. The fact that
anything
our system, the monopoly of force I'm explaining to you, there's no voting. You don't vote this in. It is what it is. Like it's self-evident at this point for the arguments I've made in the past. And the reason why that's important is he's saying you can't do this. Well, who's going to stop a force of power to coup another one? It's going to be another collection of men. But these men, you might have guardrails and checks and balances around them, but that's not a surefire way to keep them at bay. I will point to a lot of overthrowing of governments, centralized or decentralized, in the Middle East by a small amount of men, or a small religious sect, or a more radical X and Y, Al-Nusra, Mujahideen, freaking Al-Qaeda, ISIS. These are
Yeah.
small men that have a lot of
We've got
concentration of power.
those
Basically, he was like considering men as like
people
robots or
here.
something. Yeah. Yeah, he was more leaning towards robots, like how men would be robots, but that's
I think
not
his
the
point was the
human.
Fed operates independently of any branch of government. I mean,
That,
that doesn't mean it's not central. That doesn't mean it's not centralized. So just because there's a let's just say Trump wants one thing to happen and the Fed chairman says no, that doesn't mean that's not a centralization of power to control the interest rates.
yeah, basically, like the Trump can change his mind and say, okay, this new information, okay, I might not do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
So, but the market does control rates. The market does not control. It doesn't control rates as much as you think, man. Like our monetary policy has a high level of central planning, such that the interest rates take marching orders from the Fed first and foremost. Is there market influence? Yes, but our economy wouldn't be the way it is if it wasn't for the Fed, and the market can't really do much about that. If they want to destroy the buying power of an economy, how else is the market supposed to have any influence if the market's influence is directly proportional to how much buying power they have? How else are they going to do that if the buying power is stripped away? It makes it actually makes the market, the laissez-faire or the free economy, less effective.
well, that's where the protests come from, like non-violent protests, like, okay, we don't like this, we're not going to work here, we're not going to do this, we're not going to support this. Other people are going to follow. It's going to be, the word's going to spread. Um, so
Eddie B, thanks for
So
coming
I've
up.
got a question,
Yeah, hell.
and I know it's kind of it would be considered off topic for this, but more on the anti-feminist thing.
Please.
I've seen your lives a couple times, but what's your inspiration behind doing anti-feminist lives? I'm kind of curious. Or what's the story?
I looked at online discourse as far as male and female dynamics, and I started to notice things about how I used to date in the past and how it was not congruent with how I was taught. And this is really before Red Pill was a thing. I started to realize that how I treat women is differently, and they respond positively to me, even though like the mainstream narrative would say you shouldn't treat them like that. I started to get positive. Me becoming demoralized off of doing what I'm doing, it felt like cheating. Like women became so easy, it felt like I don't particularly.
What do you mean by demoralized? What does that mean?
So let me just look up the term and make sure I'm using it correctly. Because when I say demoralization, I'm saying like I kind of lose my will to contribute. I don't want to really play anymore. I want to play the game. So demoralization. Making a person lose hope, courage, confidence, or enthusiasm. So like my first problem with feminism was I kind of grew up in high school and in middle school, kind of learned that you're supposed to treat women a certain way. But after getting kind of that not working for me trying it differently, whether it be searching online to figure out what's the best way to talk to women, or what is a different way to treat women or to get results. Whether it be,
are you religious at all?
Yeah, I am, but I was not at the time. So learning kind of how being kind of a dickhead, or maybe someone who's playing around or not taking women seriously, that got me the best results in the dating market. And it kind of made me think like, this is really strange. I thought I'm supposed to treat women like equals. I thought I'm supposed to treat them like very transparently and with honor and, Scouts honor gentlemen. That was my first kind of disillusionment from the dating landscape, because treating them a certain way, I started to feel like, all right, if this is getting me results, then this kind of speaks against feminism, because if feminism is saying you need to respect me in the utmost way and you need to treat me with complete courtesy, this is called a simp. That's a simp. You simp to women, you get the worst results. That's what got me the worst results. So that was the first problem. The second problem was looking at things like the Me Too movement and how, not actually that, not firstly that. You ever remember Gamergate or Anita Sarkeesian? Do you remember certain feminist critique in the 2010s era? It was like feminist women critiquing male spaces, calling them like oppressive or patriarchal. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I just want to like shoot them up, bang, bang. I just want to throw a grenade and get some kill streaks. Like, it has nothing to do with like me hating women or something. Like, so looking at how feminists were critiquing culture that I was involved in, and to me, what was the nail on the coffin was just my stance on ABs. That just became the nail on the coffin.
You kind of make sense. In what point I'm saying is that like a lot of
Jesus
trans
loves y'all.
women,
All right, Amber,
like
appreciate it.
a trans woman would come up to me and say, okay, you know what? Earlier, this Drew woman, I don't know her full name, but she's a feminist herself. But she's saying that trans women can beautifully describe, can experience womanhood better than a woman could. And I just went on shock. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is my fault. Like, why, this is women's fault, like, for allowing this garbage, like, literally, like, why are you as a man saying that a man can experience womanhood better than an actual born woman can? That made me really like sad and tired. Like honestly, why are women like if you're a woman and you say, okay, I'm a feminist, why are you saying that men and women can compete in the same
Well, because they're
sport?
equal. They're equal. It's based on the principle that they're equal.
That I was like, how can like men's testosterone versus women's testosterone are way, it's like a sky and earth. Like how can I say a man against women competition when he literally never bled? I started bleeding when I was 12. And this person who has testosterone throughout his whole life, but he said, okay, you know what, 2 years ago I was in this pills that can stop my hormones and stop can
Birth control.
like, yeah, men taking birth control. He born a man.
But here's the thing, Aya. Equal implies how a lot of people see it, interchangeability. Does it not? If we're equal, that means we're interchangeable. That means we can substitute each other and we can slot into each other's positions without any friction. So that's how a lot of feminists are going to view their trans exclusionary or trans inclusive thought. Because we are equal, we are interchangeable, and we're no different. We're indistinguishable from each other. So if I have an opinion,
good point.
If I have an opinion or if I have a notion or a feeling, it's no different than a woman's. So if anything, my adherence to equality can perhaps be even a better perspective on womanhood if I'm a man. It's crazy to me, Naya, but that's what it is when you take feminism to its logical principle areas.
I would disagree. For like, feminist basically doesn't say, okay, you're a man, we're equal. Like, okay, our testosterone are equal. We're basically it. Like, in
Yes, it
my
does.
opinion, at least, it stands for like, okay, you know what? We've been oppressed, and all this population of people trying to tell us, "Oh, you know what? Birth as many kids as you want. Even if tomorrow they don't have a diaper for you to put it on, just keep birthing them.
But where are you
That's
from, Aya?
I literally told you where I'm from.
Well, I apologize. I don't remember. Would you mind repeating?
Afghanistan.
Right. You did say that. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I got a question too. Are Christian or Muslim?
I'm Muslim. I was born a Muslim.
Okay.
So how feminism is in the in Afghanistan is different than how it is here because the trans stuff is not in Afghanistan, right?
You tell somebody that, okay, you know what, a woman who's literally a 10 years old girl trying to get forced married to a like 60 years old man, and if you tell me that if it's a trans boy he would experience the same issue, literally tell me how that can happen in Afghanistan. Literally tell me how, like,
It can or it
trans,
cannot.
it can never happen. Like,
Well, you would be surprised because here's how it works, Aya. Have you ever heard of the story about the frog in a pot of boiling hot water? Have you heard that story or that metaphor?
no, you can tell me what that metaphor is.
So, in order to boil a frog alive, you have to slowly turn up the degrees until after each degree, the frog notices it less until you go from 0 to 100. So before the frog even knows it, after a certain amount of time, the frog has gone from 0 degrees to 100 degrees and is now boiling. But the frog isn't going to jump out because you're going from 1 degree to 2 to 3, 13. You're going in increments. You're going smallly. So over a span of time, I would bet feminism will have its hold in Afghanistan how it has its hold here. Because feminism starts off easy to digest and it starts off easy to market. Because a lot of grievances that women, particularly in Afghanistan, you guys have grievances that are valid, right? It's valid that you should be able to go to school. You should be able to drive. You shouldn't need to have like a forced marriage. So feminism becomes marketable and it's easier to adopt because the opposition is so wrong. But the more feminism goes in your society, like let's just say you get education back. Let's just say you get less arranged marriages back. Then they're going to start introducing the pornography. Then they're going to start introducing the prostitution, those principles of sexual liberation, homosexuality. Then they're going to turn up slowly the degrees before your culture becomes more and more degenerate. But it'll be because of feminism.
I would disagree because.
Well, you would have to look at the history of how our situation started. If you go back before women had the right to vote, would you say you deserve the right to vote?
Obviously, like if it's my future, it's
right. So it's very marketable. But look, right now what you're expressing right now is feminism is becoming less marketable to you because although you like certain things about feminism, you don't like the trans stuff, right?
Yeah, like me being called a cis woman.
Right.
Just call me a woman. Don't call me cis. I'd never ask for pronouns. Don't call me cis or any of those words. Just call me a woman, and that will be all. Like, just call me a woman. And I would disagree that you're saying, for instance, in Turkey, in Istanbul, there's basically like it's not worse than Afghanistan, but at least it's better than what that is. But I don't see any pornography happening. I mean,
for
it
now,
does.
Because what you don't understand about feminism is you cannot divorce its history, its origin story. You cannot divorce the main thinkers behind feminism and its goals. Its goals is to overthrow the patriarchy. Its goals is to flatten. Do you agree with this definition, Aya? Is feminism the movement towards equality amongst men and women?
Yeah, in the sense of like thinking, like I'm not. If we're both are humans, you cannot be a better human than me. That's
all right. So okay? So then equality. So we're talking about legally. We're talking about culturally. We're talking about politically. We're talking about morally. We should all be equal, right?
As a human, yeah.
Okay, so then this stands to reason that it's going to move away from patriarchal systems, because it has to. It's a functional effect of wanting equality. If there are disparities in between men and women, egalitarianism and feminism seeks to flatten those hierarchies. Why? Because it's the promotion of equality. But the promotion of equality is a moving away from patriarchal systems. You cannot escape that.
Patriarchal systems are toxic, honestly.
Right, but you haven't contended. You have not contended with whether or not.
Wait. How are they toxic?
Yeah. So
Okay.
how is it
I used to
toxic
have
to
more-
enforce? How is it toxic to enforce the? How is it toxic for men to collectively enforce the rights of women? How is that toxic? Because that's the only way that all systems at this point exist that are functional, like Dubai, Israel, Afghanistan. Some may be more liberal than others, but those are all patriarchal systems. What country do you like, Aya? What country? Where would you like to live? And I'll explain to you how it's a patriarchy.
Switzerland is a nice country.
Switzerland is a patriarchy. The military, majority men. The police force, majority men.
I like
They
it for the nature. Which women like nature. Men, they would care less about the nature. They will build bombs. They will destroy.
And you
whole
don't care about the
civilization.
system, you care about the geography.
Yeah, women care more about like geography.
Yeah,
Women
but
care
this
about
this
Earth.
only speaks to your
Animals.
okay. Well, then perhaps you shouldn't be voting if you don't have any understanding of how the systems run and the responsibility of you as well as the men in the society. You're basically taking it all for granted and saying, "Oh, okay. Well, I just rather hug a tree or sing to the birds
Voting
like
doesn't
Snow
work
White."
Anyway.
What doesn't work?
Voting doesn't work anyway. Like literally, like in Afghanistan, a lot of like when voting happened, it was fraudulent, and some people were hiding some votes. Some people were like stealing some votes. Some
Hmm.
people were paying the other people to like. So I feel like even in America, if everyone vote, it's not the patriarchal system. The military is going to decide who's going to stay in power, even if the other side decides to get more votes. Like it's just not reasonable to me to believe it.
So self-devotional ambassador says, "Congrats to the buildings and bombs, and wars men build. Women build humans." Well,
Exactly.
the feminist ones are not. Their birth rate is abysmal compared to a lot of other groups. So I'm not sure which women you're talking about. Don't give all women the credit. You got to give certain women the credit because feminists have the lowest birth rate, I've been told.
They tend to have kids later on. Like
No, they tend to abort. They tend to
Teenage
abort their
children.
kids and have sterile relationships.
I would disagree. Like most of women who are mature, they have.
You're from
children.
Afghanistan. Like you don't understand how these women are here.
Yeah,
in
if
our
you
patriarchal
saw what
society.
feminism brought in the West, you would probably understand why Islam hates America so much.
You would want to throw them off a building or something.
Hey, disavow. TikTok moderators, please don't strike me down from the heavens. Disavow.
That does happen, like overthrowing. That does happen, like
Well,
in
I'm just
Islam.
saying,
There's
I'm just
no
saying, it's so
like take no
repulsive.
prisoner. In
It-
Islam, there's like a law: take no prisoner. Like
Right.
Western countries, it's more like you get a jail time, more grace. You can change. You can, but in Sharia law and patriarchal law, Shakira law, whatever you call it, woman, if you commit a sin, if you commit something that's like literally tell you that this is a bad sin,
Haram.
you're literally gonna you're gonna be unalive. You're gonna be taken no prisoner.
Yeah,
There's
but-
no jails over there.
But you're just explaining, then you would have to agree with me that there are some patriarchies that are better than others.
Well, I would say that's because of matriarchy.
It's
That's not
okay.
because
So
of both
how do you
of it.
define a matriarchy, Aya?
Matriarchy basically believes in fairness and it's not selfish, I would say.
Okay, they believe in fairness, but how do they operate? What is their functional operation? What is their structural makeup?
Basically, I think it leans towards more like you have to follow the law.
Okay, but how is that enforced, Aya?
Well, if you're talking about force, then like feminism not even force. Like if feminism is just like a protest, it's not even a force. You're describing matriarchy as a force.
Well, how else can you have laws or rights without force? You had to contend
How
with
else
that.
can you have humans without women? That's my
Okay, well that's a non sequitur. You're asking me a question that's not relevant to the question I'm asking you. So I'm,
what did you? I literally answered it.
okay, so how can men exist without women? They can't.
They can.
They cannot.
They cannot.
Oh, okay. So then maybe you're answering. Maybe you just did a Jedi mind trick right there, because you're correct. And in the same notion, without force, there cannot be any rights.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell her, bro. I don't think she understands that if men wanted to, like they think they have it so bad. If men wanted to, this is gonna sound real crazy, but if men wanted to, we could literally put all the women in factories. Like we don't need like we can breed from that. We can just like fucking turn this whole bitch into
We
like
should be thankful.
kind of, yeah, because there's a lot of men. See, it's not really like that we're all even and
Literally,
50-50. No, it's not that we're even 50-50 on the subject. It's that there's some men trying to do horrible things, like take airplanes and ram them into buildings, while the other men are trying to stop them, but they don't find out until the building's already gone. And it changes all this stuff. These guys are actively trying to put you in a muzzle, and the other guys over here that let you vote are going over there to the desert and dying in trenches
well,
so
you're
that you can sit here
saying
and complain.
So the men are not the
could
same.
live-
That's a good point. The men are not the
men-
same.
Well, if John is saying that if men could allow this, if men would want this, literally, if there's, I'll tell you one story about like there was a war in Kilji. There was like a.
And where's Kilji
Muslim
at, Aya?
farm.
Where's Kilji at?
Kilji, it's like a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, like I think it's coming from. It was back in the day, like Afghanistan, like more broader when they were controlling India, even.
Okay.
So they were trying to take over this one group of people in India. I guess they were called. I'm trying to recall their name. I think, yeah, I forgot their name, but it was a tribe. And then the woman, like basically the men were gonna take women as slave after they massacred their men.
Mm-hmm.
What the woman did is create a huge fire and threw themselves in the fire. Basically, like they all unalived themselves. They would rather be unalived than being taken as slaves. So what you John is saying that if men could do that, if men could do this, then we would do that.
Yeah, we could just stop him from doing that. Just grab him by the arm.
Well, what I'm saying that if there are no women to even rule over, who are you gonna rule over? Ashes?
Yeah. So here's how it works. I think that's a cool story, and I'll grant it for the sake of the argument that it exists exactly how you're saying. Women were bailed in such a way that they ended their lives. How many of those women would you say did that? Out of 100 women, how many women did it?
I think there were like thousands and five.
So what percentage?
A huge percentage. Of
Give me a
whatever
percentage.
men
50%?
died, were women. Yeah.
So 50% of the women?
All of them.
100% of the women.
All of them. None of them left.
Okay, well that might be the case in one scenario, like one group of women, but if you look at how casualties of war happen, particularly with the women, they usually become enslaved or they become comfort women. They usually become men's. Right. So I'm explaining to a lot of women, probably more than what you're explaining, who are willing to, in order to save their life, they will give up certain things. So that proves, now I'm not saying this is wrong, or I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just explaining to you how women are on the opposite end of what you're saying, who are more likely, who are willing to cooperate so they can keep their lives.
I would say like a woman who's willing to give up their lives are the most feminist women. And
Yeah, but you're saying they're cooler, but I'm explaining to you the women are saying I don't care, I'd rather be alive than think that I'm cool to Aya. Like I don't care, I want to live. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to survive, and if that means I gotta have babies, I'm just explaining to you that if there was a scenario that men wanted things to go down, women wouldn't have any recourse. The only recourse they could have is to appeal to other men. But this would just be another patriarchy they're swinging a branch to. It's nothing else than that.
Yeah, like literally, like how would like living a life as a living life in a slavery or anything like that, you don't please, like you think
You said you like Switzerland, but if you go to Switzerland, what I'm trying to tell you and what he's trying to tell you is that if you go to
I like it for
Switzerland,
the
you're going to
nature,
find that
man.
the reason. Okay, yeah, but that's irrelevant. What country do you like? Name one society that you think
I
today
like my
is
own
doing.
country when it's free.
All right, but it would just be maintained. It would just be maintained by a group of men who are maintaining the security, the borders, the peace, the laws, the court system. It would be men who are doing that. Do you not understand, Aya? It's a patriarchy.
But it does go against your point that if a man
The
could do
freedom,
whatever,
Go ahead,
the
Aya.
women
freedom
could do
that you
anything about it.
seek leads to where a matriarchal society is.
Come again?
The freedom that you're talking about, like I want more freedom, I want more equality, I want more women to have choices. That's what leads to all the stuff that we have in the West, the homosexuality, the really
Transgenderism.
bad court systems where you got female judges giving people slaps on the wrist for assaulting and this whatever. TikTok would
So you
ban me
think
for
assaulting
saying it.
is bad? Literally, you're saying assaulting somebody else can be bad. Like you see, I'll tell you a story where I come from. There are no women police in Afghanistan. But if a woman is injured,
I
for
wish I
example,
could
a
see no
husband,
female
let me tell you a
officers.
story. If a husband beats their wives, a woman cannot show it to a woman judge because the judges are only men, and women are not
Okay,
allowed to show skin. So,
that's good.
okay.
But
So
but
if
are
a
you
woman is
saying
injured,
men can't execute
second.
judgment? Are you saying men
Women are
cannot
not.
execute judgment fairly?
Well, there are no women police or women judges. Who are they going to show their wounds to?
Men who have expertise in looking at women's wounds.
What?
Cannot a man learn the
Well, a
body and
doctor.
learn? Yeah, it's a
Well, they're
doctor.
not allowed to show skin, and the person
Oh, well,
who's
that's
harming them
well,
is their
that's.
husband.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's y'all system. I mean, shoot. I mean, if you explain the Sharia law and all that, I mean, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good system, but here in the West, we do things differently with women. You know, we let them drive, we let them have bank accounts and stuff. So I mean,
And talk back and everything.
yeah, we let them talk back. They ain't gotta wear. They don't have to wear.
A mistake, but
They don't have to wear hijabs. Hell, they can wear the opposite of hijab. They don't have to cover up that much
know
at
what?
all.
I might need to move to Afghanistan. I'm thinking about it now. Let's talk a little bit more about whatever you were saying. Because as a Christian, I do believe that women are property.
Okay.
But not in a bad way, not in an abusive way, but I do believe that they are property according to the Bible.
For anybody who wants to hear this,
Well,
hold on a second. That sounds like an interesting argument. For anybody who wants to hear what he has to say,
Yes.
would you mind indulging? But before, I want to lock this behind a
his
gate.
mom is a property.
I want to lock this behind a
Yes.
gate. Hell, would you allow me to lock it behind a gate? A pay to win scheme. Fairy, thanks for the heart.
Okay, so
If
please,
anybody, hold on a second, Aya. If anybody in the chat wants to hear this about how women are property, if anyone wants to hear him make a Christian case for women being property, get the likes up to 3,000 in the next 2 minutes, and we'll do it. Because it's kind of borderline content. It's kind of borderline
A
content.
whole speech on it. By the end of what I'm saying, I'm hoping that every single one of the 14 people watching on TikTok will be fully convinced that women are 100% property.
I'm
so
willing
preacher,
to.
first of all, you cannot enter Afghanistan unless you're local. You can't even marry their women. As a predatory as you sound, you cannot marry any of them unless
Predatory? What the heck? I have a
literally.
friend who married a Pakistani, and he's there right now with his kids and everything. His
What do
white
you mean? Can't we
Pakistani
just
wife.
share our soul
Different.
to
They would
Allah?
sell out easily.
Hi, James.
Well, then,
Hey,
then you
kissing,
go get
kissing.
a
Welcome back,
Pakistani
ma'am.
wife.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Look at you starting trouble again.
I mean that's hell. You know, I'm just trying to make it work for the panel or for the channel. That rhymes with panel.
Okay, I wanted to hear the gentleman's.
Wait a minute. We got 300 likes left. So you guys got 1 minute.
I'm like,
I'm John Brown.
I wanted to hear what he said because when I heard what you said, I was like, I'm nobody's property, but now I want to hear how I'm property.
But by the
Maybe
end of
you'll
this
change. Maybe you'll
conversation,
change
you
my
will
mind.
know. You will know the truth about this.
All right,
Yeah.
hey, I'm honoring my commitments here. It's you guys got it in 2 minutes, so you're up here. Please. All right, so for everyone in the chat, you guys got the likes up past 3,000. I'll honor my commitment. If hell you'd be so kind to please give a Christian case for women being property.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it in there's traditionally, there's historically, and I'm gonna talk about this. In the sense of Western civilization has always viewed, and this is at our height of civilization, we have always viewed and treated women as property. And I'm gonna start with the wedding ceremony. When a father walks his daughter down the aisle, that is his property for wedding. And then he gives her over, and then also the daughter changes her last name to the name of her new property owner. Just like you change a title to a car, just like when you have to adopt a dog at the pound, you get the last name, you acquire this piece of property. Okay, wait. I'm on this thing. So traditionally, women are property. Okay. She's got your last name, it's a piece of property. And then in the Bible, Ruth was a woman who was purchased, says it in the book of Ruth, and she was a package deal purchased for a piece of property with a piece of property. So women biblically, and it was not frowned upon, were able to be bought. And also in 1 Corinthians 7, it talks about a woman cannot get married unless her father gives permission, unless she has the blessing of her father. So, women's choices, not so much Christianity wise. Another thing is in Titus 2, it says that women should be keepers of the home, taking care of children, such and such. I mean, a woman is a helpmeet to her husband. She's not career oriented. She's not this. She's not that. She's supposed to be a servant to her husband. Just like in Ephesians 6:5, it says, slaves, be obedient to your masters. And there I rest my case.
I thought that you were going to come up here and give some like facts to prove that
was facts.
there's
That was like straight facts.
hold on. Let me talk. That there's some type of innate nature versus oppression.
Fairy, thanks for the likes, man. Thanks for the thumb action. No homo.
I don't think anybody can negate history and what it says in the Bible.
Just saying, don't you want your
You're
seat
right.
pulled out when you go on a date? Don't you want your car door open for you? Don't you want like a big strong man to like fight off the burglars when he's trying to snatch your purse?
Well, that's courtesy. That's not oppression.
No, but why should the man do it though? Because why is the man oppressed in the way that he should have to do physical
Hold on,
actions?
everybody's talking all over themselves. What I'm trying to say is just because we've always done something one way doesn't make it right.
Would you ever show your date courtesy and pay for the date? Would you do the same thing for him?
Yes, I have done it. Yes.
Would you pull his chair out for him and open his car door?
I don't know if I
Would
pull
you
his
fight
chair out
if
for
some
him,
dude
but men
that
don't.
about it?
Well, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. So let Brown cross-examine Kiss. But before you do that, Brown, before you do that, let me just introduce KJ.
Yeah, hi,
Oh,
everyone.
John. Yeah, hello, ma'am. Are you a feminist?
No,
All right.
Good.
I agree with the men on the panel 100%.
Oh,
We want
snap.
our chairs pulled out. We want the doors opened. We want somebody that we went out on a date with to call us to see if we got home okay. There's not enough of that from the men, and that's why I'm single. Most of the men today, they don't participate in any of that, and that's a major problem.
You might live in a.
Is down in the United States.
Wait. Hey, man, you can't. Don't bring that on men. That ain't the reason why the birth rate's down.
Well, I guess I just dislike the discourse that says if you want to be treated well, you also have to be treated bad. Like that's what it sounds like you're saying to me. It's like saying if you want me to pull out your door or pay for your dinner, then you're also gonna have to do whatever
No,
the
it
fuck
means you
I
can't
say
expect the
when I
man.
say it and be
You can't
subservient and get in the
expect the
like.
man
Do you see what I'm
settle
saying?
down.
Like why?
Relax.
Why
Wait, but
can
what
I
is?
not
But
You
one?
simply can't expect the men
Why
to
can I
give up
not
one part of their life while you're not willing to give up any part of your life. Why should the man be the one to fight off the burglar and put his life in danger and
So
let you get
you're
away?
more feminist than
No,
you believe
no.
men and women are
No,
equal.
no, no,
You
no,
are
Aya.
feminist.
Aya, that's
Is
not
that what you're
it.
saying?
That's not Aya. It's just called equivalent exchange. Just call value for value.
Right.
Literally, you guys are feminists. You
No,
guys
it's not
think
because
men
a
and women are
feminist
equal.
doesn't view meritocracy as a thing. She believes that she should have it just by virtue of her having a vagina or by virtue of you existing. You're entitled to certain
That is
things.
true, and which is matriarchy.
But that's not, but that is entitlements and equity is different than equivalent exchange, value for value. That would be more meritocratic and reciprocal. It's a different system.
I think that's just kindness. I think
Okay.
that's just being
Yeah. So what
kind
you're
to each
kissing,
other.
what you're explaining is funny because you're speaking to you being entitled, right? Because you're asking the question, hey, why should I have to give up something in order to get something in
Be
return?
oppressed.
Okay. So how is a woman? Okay. Here's the thing. Let's couple these things here. If a man is going to be fighting off the bad guys, if a man is going to be, would you expect a man to fight off the bad guys? Fight off the bad guys?
I would expect that if people were attacking in my home, every able-bodied person in this home would protect each other however they could.
Okay, but let's be orderly. Let's be orderly here. There's a reason why there's a reason why our military structure is set up a way so that the people who are there's first responders. There's first responders. Let's just take the police out of it. Let's take the police out of it, Brown.
Okay, I'll
They're
give you
so
a perfect.
handsome when they show up.
I'll give you a perfect example. I have two
Every
teenage
time I see
boys.
an officer, I
They
question if I like women.
what?
Gay. So
Weird.
men
I
like
have
men more.
I have two teenage
Okay.
sons. They are larger than me and stronger than me, right? But I'm the adult in the house. So if something happens, I don't automatically expect my children, even though they're larger and bigger than me, to handle it.
But then they would be.
my responsibility.
It's not. It's not. It's not your responsibility. If you let me just be very technical here. Let me be very, very technical, and I'm not trying to judge. But I'm just explaining. It's your responsibility for not having a man in the house. That's the first problem, right? The second problem is now that there isn't, the most capable to respond should be the ones who respond. You're not more capable than if your sons can out bench press you and out squat you and out deadlift you. You're not really the one who's should be being thrown into the action. Does that make sense?
I think I still would try though.
Okay, so you're stepping out of. Are you doing it to prove a point, or what is?
No, just because when you have to fight, the scenario that we're talking about is fighting for your family, and if I have to fight for my family, then I'm willing to do it.
All right, here's a scenario. Here's a scenario. There's a man which is a okay, but here's the thing. Here's let me explain to you guys. Here's how the love is not. We need to have order. We need to have respect. We need to understand. We need to be wise. Your emotions. I'll explain. I know it's triggering, but let me just explain. I'll give a scenario. Let's just.
Feign weakness.
All right, Kiss. No, you should understand that you're generally weak, and women are generally weak as compared to men. If a man came to your home and starts trying to get violent or get physical, let's just say your son, given that he's more physically capable, is trying to get himself in the way in between you and the man. You asserting yourself into that situation because you love him, you're actually doing more damage because you're putting yourself at risk and you're actually disregarding his intent and his instinct to protect you. My instinct is to protect you. Why would you go put yourself in harm's way now?
So it
You're
should go
completely
as a story.
disregarding. You're completely disregarding my instinct.
Because
It
it's
will go
also
down
my
as a story
instinct.
what a woman
Right.
did for her
So
family.
you're saying
That
you're saying instead of me,
natural
you're saying instead of me, the son, risking my life for you. No, I'm going to
Yes.
disregard that, and perhaps I'm going to throw both of our lives away now.
I think if you asked any mother, she would say the same because
Right.
the
Well, the
instinct
women. Well,
is
this is
not.
why. This is why you
It's
never
not a
let.
man.
This is why you never let
This is what I'm trying to
emotion. This is
say.
why you never let
It's not a.
emotion get in the way of what should
No,
happen.
It's
What's the
not a
best?
man versus woman
no,
thing.
it's
Well,
not a
This
man
is
versus
a
it's.
natural instinct
I'm
of
explaining to
people.
you men versus women because a criminal is going to. There's a men and versus women
Okay.
baked
Well,
into
let's
that. Why is
well
that?
let's flip the scenario and say that I'm home with my children, but my children are 2 and 3 years old. Is it still not my responsibility
Yeah,
to
it's your
try to protect
responsibility
my
because
children?
your baby can't bench press you, but your son can.
But do you see where I'm saying that
Then that's a different analogy. That's a
that feeling
different.
to protect them
Yeah,
doesn't
but
go away?
sure, but here's the
Doesn't
thing.
change because they're
All right,
now
well, this
20.
is why women can't lead. This is why women shouldn't be in any authorship as far as this is concerned in this context.
How does that
Because
prove
you
your
don't
point?
understand the reality that on a balance of
That
probability,
is your
no,
opinion.
no, it is not
That's
my.
your
Here's
opinion.
how it's not my opinion. It is not my opinion that if a man comes into the home, this is how it's not my opinion. Majority of cases, if a man comes in the home that is a criminal, your son, who is physically more capable than you, is going to have a better chance at beating him up than you would. That is not my opinion. Is it my opinion?
Have you ever fought a woman that was absolutely hell bent
Do you
on
have traps like me? Do you have traps like me? Do you have deltoids like me?
Beating up is one thing.
I've actually had to physically fight a man off, and I
All
did
right.
it.
Okay. How about this?
Beating up is one thing.
Look, look,
What kind of men are we hanging out with?
look how bad faith this has become. Look how
What I'm trying
uncharitable.
to say is, what I'm
Well,
trying to
you
say
make
is
sense, host here.
it's
You make
human
sense.
nature. It's
Hold on,
human
guys.
nature
Hold on.
to
Time
have
out.
men
Time
versus
out. Time out.
women.
Time out. Time out.
Well, I know
Hold
what
on, Aya.
you're
Hold on,
doing.
Aya. Hey, look. Me and Aya have been beefing for a while. Can we get the likes up for Aya even agreeing with what I'm saying? Can we get the likes up just a little bit? Just a little bit. Can we get the likes up? Because even Aya's agreeing with me. I'm just talking about simple, basic logic here, and it's triggering some of the women at this point.
Well, that makes sense. I see what you're doing. I see what you're saying because, like, if a thief come and I raise my boy or a son in a way like he's like really strong. I'm encouraging him to go to gym. Even his father's not around. I'm like, you know what? You should be the perfect example of what a man should be.
Right. Let him be the man. Let him become a man to protect his family. Let that be a rite of passage. What if he expires? At least he will die happy, knowing that he tried his best. But the other scenario, here's why it's wrong. When women assert themselves in danger against men in the situation, you're basically forfeiting. You're making his entire position in vain. Like let's just say my woman is in a closet, okay, and the criminal who came in the house doesn't even know she's there. And I'm saying, stay in this closet. Let me protect you. And then, as I'm fighting this guy, she steps in. If we both go out, what was the point of me risking my life?
Exactly.
It's all in vain. If I can die knowing that not only did you not die, you didn't get assaulted in a certain way, that's a worthy way to go out. A worthy way to go out to me. But you making the risk, you adding risk because you love me or because you're emotional. No, let me have that decision. But that's where submission comes in. Are you willing to submit to that despite what you feel about it?
Maybe I don't think like that because my son isn't big like you.
But your son could probably,
I have
but your
doubts
son could,
that he could fight somebody off.
don't you think your sons can probably physically defend you better than you could?
I don't know. I think like I've seen some shit and they've never seen anything. So
If
you know,
your son has Down syndrome, he has what they call retard strength in the army.
Wow,
so
wait,
it's
time out.
obviously gonna be
Ugh.
What?
Brown, I gotta,
The father male
hold on
figure
a
should be
second.
around them.
Ugh.
Male
I
figure
gotta
should be
reset the
around them.
live. I had to reset the live. It's crazy.
I'm
Oof.
sorry. I won't say that.
Oof. I gotta restart the live because I'm gonna get axed if I. Hey, man, it's a good cliffhanger, man. It's a good cliffhanger. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. All is forgiven. I gotta be TOS, man. They tried to get me out of here last time, man. So I gotta be very careful. I gotta be very careful how we do things over here. Memento, man. I almost got axed. Somebody used the R word, and I almost got they almost got me up out of here. I just reset my live. Hopefully, I'm able to avoid the punitive measures. Somebody used a certain word. I had to reset the live. It's all good though. They didn't know, and it was completely in context. You know, it's not particularly his fault. You know, it's just I have to be very careful with how we do. Look, this is why I hate feminism. Make sure you got your backup account ready. Yeah, I'm gonna need to set one. I've just been lazy at it. A Smurf account, if you will. So let me explain something to you guys before I let the next guest up. I see you in the wait. I'm gonna let you up in a sec. This is why I hate feminism, because feminism has created such a corporate and sterile, feminine and sensitive environment in a lot of areas, such that community guidelines and people being offended becomes how we're going to enforce the possibility of literally ending someone making money. If you're offended, this is the most feminine and sensitive way to do things. But this is what happens when women get power. This is what happens when women take up spaces. They start enforcing things very, very punitively, and they crack down on freedoms a lot. Anyways, welcome up.
Hey, what's up, man?
Micah, what's going on? What brings you up? All right. By emotion, exactly, KJ. Things will be led by emotions. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel a certain way. Perhaps we should give them a community guideline strike. What you said was offensive to some audiences. That's really gay, if you ask me. Hell, I don't even know if I can say that anymore. It's very sensitive. No problem, Micah. You're welcome back up. Yeah, so let me just rant a bit before I get some of the guests. Would you guys mind getting the likes up? I'm gonna give you guys a nice, juicy rant. This is why you should be an anti-feminist. The more anti-feminism culture is around, the more women are going to want to feel the need to have kids and raise their own kids and stay home and not work as much. The less women that are working, the less sensitive people they're going to be. The less sensitive people there are going to be, the less sensitive people there are going to be moderating. The less sensitive moderators, the laxer they're going to be on this whole community guideline stuff. Because I know it's women and men being raised by women who are sensitive in this way, striking people's channels down. Micah.
Alrighty, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? Oh, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, with like the community guidelines thing, I don't think you can get banned if somebody on your live says something that's against community guidelines. I think their account just get banned. So
I got suspended.
Oh, you did?
Last 2 weeks ago, I got suspended. No, I'm sorry. I said it that time 2 weeks ago, but the time that I got suspended before that was someone said it, and I didn't even catch it until they showed me in the thing. They played it back, and it was someone in my panel who said a thing, and I got suspended for almost a week.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. I mean, I just came up. I just wanted to ask you, like, somebody like me who's younger, I just turned 18 recently, and like, what kind of advice would you give for me, for somebody who wants to start dating and like taking, you know, women more seriously.
You should operate in such a way where you're only looking for marriage. What do you think about that first point?
Operating in such a way where I'm only looking for marriage. I mean, that's the kind of the way that I think anyways, but I don't think that's the way most women think. Most women have very like promiscuous ways of thinking, to be honest.
Right. And that's good because you're going to filter out women who don't want to take you serious. You're going to filter out women who are not ready. Because if you're not, you're going to be dealing with women who are not mature, or at least are not trying to work towards that. So if you make your intentions very clear that you're looking for marriage, you're not really looking to dick around, you're going to have the added benefit of filtering out women who aren't that, and you're not going to be creating any damage for yourself in the future as well. Because let's just say you're not being serious with a woman, and you're just going with the flow. Well, this is how you get the future of your lineage aborted potentially. Hey, I wasn't really taking her seriously. We just hooked up, and then, I mean, I didn't know she was like this. I didn't know she didn't want the kid. You get what I'm saying? You avoid a lot of hardship and pain if you just make your intentions clear towards the goal of marriage and finding a woman who has your similar morals, perhaps similar political views, similar religious views, right?
Yeah.
Another thing, so are we in agreement on that?
That you should find somebody who's in line with the things that you believe in. Yeah, of course. I mean, that can always cause like controversy and stuff.
Would you consider yourself a leader?
A leader?
Would you consider yourself worthy, or do you adhere, or do you answer the calling of leadership in relationships as a man?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I am a man, and I try to be masculine, and a part of being masculine is being a leader. So yeah, of course.
All right. Well, then you should find out boundaries that are true to you and moral and righteous, and assert those in all of your relationships, not just with men, but women particularly, because having boundaries, for example, how do you feel about women being provocative, dressing provocative?
I mean, women dressing provocatively. I mean, there's like, I think definitely like the way that like the kind of like media that women, you know, consume kind of doesn't really like they'll say things to where like there's no sort of like accountability for like, you know, the problems that it causes for women doing the actions that they do and stuff. I mean, I can't control what other females do, but I mean, women dressing provocatively, I would never date somebody who does that.
Okay, so then how about this? You're in a relationship with a girl, you really like her, she's cute, like hell, you like her a lot. And all of a sudden she wants to start dressing a certain way. She wants to go to the gym dressing a certain way, she wants to go out dressing a certain way, she wants to go to school dressing a certain way. And what do you do in that scenario? If you've tried to warn her, hey, I don't like this, I don't like this for our relationship, what do you do? She disregards that and says, you know, I understand, but I really feel like, you know, like this is just me, and like I just really like expressing myself in this way. What do? You remember, you love this girl.
Yeah.
Or you really like her. What do you do?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if like you said, if I set really clear boundaries in place and say, like, this is what I want, you know, and she goes against that, that really shows a lack of respect. So
that's a good way to think about it.
Further from that, I don't really know what I would do.
Get rid of her.
Huh?
Get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be tough.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You have to lead. Leadership is not just when people agree with you, it's also when people don't. You need to learn how to walk away and be indifferent to people's I mean, you can be considerate to people's feelings about how you want to lead, but you still need to lead with or without them.
Yeah.
That's real leadership, because if a follower knows you'll supplicate to them, then they know how to manipulate you. They know how to get de facto authority over you. It's important to lead in such a way that that people fear or respect the potential consequences that come with them. Because if you don't do it that way, and let's just say in this scenario, hey, I just want to dress how I want, you know what I mean? And it's just my mom gave this to me, and I mean, I don't really see it like that, and it's not relevant. I told you what my boundary was, and if you don't like it, you said it, you put the nail on the head. Love to men, how you receive love as a man, if it's not with respect, it's meaningless. Her emotional content towards you, how she feels about you, it's completely irrelevant. Women's feelings change all the time. Your wife might say, oh my gosh, I can't stand you. Your wife will say, you're such an asshole. I can't believe you said that. Your wife's emotions will be to and fro. Her respect must be constant.
Hey, James, I have a question. If your wife told you not to wear that shirt anymore, would you respect her and say,
No, I
I
wouldn't.
won't wear that anymore?
No.
Okay.
It's not it's not provocative, and he's not dressing in a way that's promiscuous.
Yeah, I think if I had like, if there was something provocative about that, I think we could have a discussion about that. And I would definitely consider what my wife is saying.
I
For
also
me,
just wanted to
it
say,
gives me watching you have that T-shirt gives me a boner. I'm rock hard looking at you, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so that would be something that would be based on your perversion. That has nothing particular to do with me.
Based on so would a woman's
No, because women are not, men and women are not built the same,
women
and men.
are all the same and men are different. I get it. So
So do you
all
agree with that?
men-
Do you agree with that?
No, so definitely all women are the exact same, and so no matter what they do, we can equal them to the same. But for men, that's where we can start being a little bit more selective about what we think is provocative or not. It doesn't matter what a woman says because men are the leaders and we're more powerful.
You're
We
just
deserve.
Yeah, you're just yapping at this point. So back to the. I'll even engage with your.
Retarded. You're
Oh
fucking
man.
retard.
Oh
You're
man.
May I say something to
All
Micah?
right, I gotta restart the live. Appreciate it, but
Yeah, you're retarded. See
yeah.
you later.
Yeah. I don't know if I had to restart the live each time, but dang it. Yikes. Hey man, I guess we're having a freaking look guys, my arguments are so bad. It's, believe it or not, guys, this is actually validating for me. Believe it or not, this is actually very validating. I'll explain to you how validating it is. Have I arrived at such a point where now they're trying to deplatform me? I mean, it's very flattering. And I really appreciate it. You guys don't know how long it's taken for me, actually, to someone who I've recognized to intentionally try and get me deplatformed. I want to thank that gentleman. I appreciate it. Can we get the likes up, guys? Pretty please. Let's get more shrieking harpy feminists on the live. I'm ready.
I wanted to, yeah, what's up?
May I say something quickly to Micah?
Yes, ma'am.
And James, I agreed with all of the advice that you gave him, but I would like to say something that I think is of the utmost importance. He was asking about marriage and women. Micah, make sure that you are on the same page financially with women. The number one reason for divorce in the United States of America is differences of money. You cannot, I don't know what your financial habits are, but you can't have a spendthrift with somebody who's a miser, somebody who wants to do nothing but spend money with somebody who wants to save it. You'll be at each other's throats. It'll make both of your families hate each other. Make sure that the woman that you get with is on the same page with you as money.
Yeah, of course.
It's so important.
Memento, thanks for the support. Trey, what good to see you again.
Wait, KJ, so like I kind of agree with you, but don't you think like primarily in like a relationship between a man and a female, like the man would, prefer, I would say more likely than not is going to be the breadwinner, and wouldn't you say that they should be making the financial decisions anyways?
I agree with that, but in dealing with reality, you could be with somebody who has look at how their parents, this is my advice to you, look at how her parents treat money. Do they live in debt? Because she's going to inherit that as well as their politics. Um, really analyze her parents on what their attitude towards money is, religion, and
Yeah.
politics. And if it's at odds with what your belief system is, I would advise against.
So you're talking about
It's nothing
spending
but risk.
habits. You're saying how much she makes doesn't matter as much as how she spends it and how whether she's prudent with money and
Correct.
responsible.
You cannot have somebody who wants to save money with somebody who wants to do nothing but spend money. It's a disaster, and you can't change the other person. You can send them to credit counseling services. You can pay for it. You can take classes. It's inherited from their parents. It's a big thing. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I think it's, how do you pronounce this? RC.
Hello.
Hello, RC. What brings you up?
Yeah, I'm 30, so I was just gonna say that like guys around my age and younger, it's this generation of women in our generation is just cooked, Christian or not. Like, it's insufferable. Dating them is insufferable. Even the ones that claim to be conservative and claim to support the values that a lot of us conservative guys, the moment you start being vulnerable with them and getting to know them, it's like, oh, you're just a Trojan horse.
You're
That's been my
you're black pilled,
experience.
RC. Are you black pilled?
I don't know what that is.
Well, maybe not. You don't subscribe to being black pilled, but you sound like pretty pessimistic
What's
about
the
it.
definition of black?
I'm
What's
using
the
it.
definition of black pill?
Black pill is kind of like the belief that a woman's hypergamy is going to be such that only the certain most attractive type of men are going to be a certain way, and you're going to, if you don't have that, you're basically screwed. Now that's not how I'm using it. I'm using black pill in a way like pessimistic, like maybe even nihilistic at this point. What are you saying? There's no hope in the West? It's just like,
Well, I'm a Christian though. I don't fit into. I mean, that's the only box I'd like put myself in. I guess I'm a conservative. That's another box, but it's what I guess what black pilled me, if you will, is that the Christian women were indiscernibly different, or not different rather, from the feminist liberal women. Like, they're the same thing. That social media has corrupted them all the same. So
well, two questions. First one is not irrelevant or not relevant. The second one's more to your statement. First one is, you sound like that dude. You sound very familiar. You sound like that dude who has a panel about women dressing like strippers in the gym. Are you that same guy?
yeah, that's me.
Okay. It's funny. I recognize your voice.
Dude,
I want that T-shirt. I want that T-shirt. Is that a T-shirt?
No, that's not a T-shirt. That's hilarious that you recognize me from that. Other people, I don't like to talk about the stuff that I do. I just like to have these conversations. But
you should make a shirt, please.
Yeah, I've considered it, maybe, or a Sorry Dad shirt. I've made videos putting clothes on.
Yeah,
women.
dude.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, please make those shirts. Damn it! What the hell?
You agree?
I would buy those shirts. No, I agree with how you're rendering like on that market. But here's where I disagree with you on here.
Sure.
Because the first question is, are we not? If these women are indeed Christians, can we not appeal to the same spirit that's in you and I?
I thought so. I I am a bit pessimistic to it though, because I've tried that, but it takes a level of vulnerability. You have to put your walls down when you're dating, and when I've done that, it's just you get scorched. Like, but yeah, I would like to believe that that's true.
James,
What
do you
is-
have an eidetic memory?
No, I'm just good with voices. I don't know. I just have an ear for voices. But when it comes to you're almost kind of saying you're almost lacking faith in this, and I'm not trying to sound like Cope, like you should have you should just have faith that that woman who's dressing a certain way is going to all of a sudden turn her life around. It would stand to reason that with enough time and with enough patience, you're going to meet a woman, but you're going to be convinced that she holds similar convictions of morality and spiritual matters that you would, such that you're going to not only have how you would approach her, but your trust in what God would want for you. That would also inform how you're going to be approaching her. If that means does that mean you're going to have some of your guard down? Maybe, but I'm sure you could watch a woman from maybe afar or as you're with her doing the same things in the ways of the Lord that you would be convinced of. And are you saying you've done that and you've been burned?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And the way that they dress is not the problem for that's not been a problem for me. The stuff they post online has not been a problem for me either. Like they dress very modest. That's just one expression of disrespect when they dress that way when they're in a relationship. But there's many other ways that they express disrespect to the man that they're with. And for me, the way they dress was fine. It's the way they acted. And it's just like that. It comes down to disrespect and not trusting the man and wanting to basically be an adult child doing whatever she wants without penalty. That's the issue I see with like women in our generation.
Please give me an example. Because if we're already talking about a woman who you would think is modest and respectable, what type of disrespect are we talking about? Give us an example.
Insulting in front of family and friends, screaming, hanging up the phone. Just 3 quick ones that are obviously showing disrespect to the man that she's with, especially speaking down on him in front of others, let alone in private, which is a different matter.
True. A woman trying to emasculate or like be petty. Yeah, this is immature.
Yeah.
Now, where was this woman? Where did you acquire this one?
Oh, you want my personal
Well,
experience?
you know, I'm not asking you to dox or.
I'm not gonna say names or.
No, I'm not asking you to go too personal. I'm just saying, where did you meet this person at?
Well, we met on an app, but very cool. Yeah, I know.
What kind of app? What kind of app are we talking about?
Hinge.
Yo.
I thought that was I don't.
Dude.
I know, but hear me out. I don't use that anymore. I haven't, that was a 2.5-year long relationship, but she is the daughter of a pastor, and that's why I was more open to believing it. We're going to church all the time, to her father's church. And she was on the app for literally like 48 hours when we had met. So
wait, hold on. Can I just say something real quick?
I know that might sound like.
But look, do you think it's fair? Do you think that's fair that we're gonna levy Christian behavior on a certain type of? Or we're talking about Christian women here now.
Yeah.
You and I could both agree that a woman who's on Hinge, she's probably not really doing things God's way. Because wouldn't you say it's probably better, as far as probability goes, that you meet a man or a woman in a social circle or a community, like let's just say you met her at a weapon convention, because I can't say the G word, or I don't know, a Trump rally or something, that you probably have better results than Hinge, right? Yes. So would that be so when you say there's a woman who started acting disrespectfully, yeah, she can be women can be I wouldn't put a church daughter's behavior, I wouldn't be surprised of that behavior if she's on Hinge, because it kind of like equals it. It kind of is par with the course. You're going to meet women who are not taking things seriously. They're not really mature. Women shouldn't really be on Hinge in the first place. Like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like when you download the app, I believe you probably had some good intentions, but you really got to think about what were her intentions when she downloaded the app, and I don't think that those were good intentions.
Attention and validation.
Yeah,
literally.
You're right. No, I mean, I've learned that lesson. I guess the thing that gave me more hope is that her sister, who was like about a year younger than her, had also found her husband on the app. She was dating him at the time that I met my ex, but then they got married and they met through that app, and her sister seemed like a good person, so I don't think just because you're on the app is necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't
But
think it
I'm not using
disqualifies
it
you.
anymore.
But the
No,
reason why I
no,
bring it up is
but
because we're
I'm
talking
not using
about
it though.
risk mitigation and probability, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, you are right. You're right. I mean, that was not a green flag to begin with.
So can you give us another example where we can agree on on how you guys met up? Because we can disqualify
Yeah.
that one. Trade, thanks for coming. Thanks for the heart.
Well, you might disagree with how this girl and I had met, but she's another conservative content creator, Christian conservative content creator with quite a.
Already disagree.
Okay, I know.
No, I don't disagree with that. I know there's covert feminists in our camps, but okay, so what's this? If you want to obviously be vague, but what's the scenario?
Yeah, well, I had done like a podcast, and she had reached out to me after watching that podcast because she had like a perception of me that I guess changed for the better after watching me in that podcast.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good foundation here.
Exactly. It was actually a podcast with me and Nala Ray, if you know who that is.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Nala
Oh,
Ray
wow.
was the girl that used to be like the #1 OF, and then she
Yeah.
became a Christian. Okay, anyway, long story short, this conservative Christian woman watched that and then messaged me. But here's the red flag: she messaged me at like 1 in the morning on Instagram. So yeah, but then we exchanged numbers like the next day and getting to know each other. But the moment I was starting to show interest, just cold turkey.
All right, well that's women.
Yeah,
That's
See,
women
what I'm
though.
saying. That's women.
But women being like cats and to and fro sometimes. That's not like that is a function of women.
Yeah.
Unless you're, what are you suggesting? Like, what are you suggesting? Are you suggesting you find somebody's dad and then go talk to him and get the daughter? Like, because if you're not doing it that way, you're going to find women who are going to be shifty and what's the word? Flippant sometimes. The woman I was with, the one I'm married to, she forgot one time that we were going to go out on a date. I'm like, what the hell?
Mm.
I don't see other. I'm just explaining to you that's women.
Yeah,
I would want to add
I
to
don't know.
that. I would want to add to that it is up to the man to pursue. And I'm going to emphasize that like just because her desire is feigning doesn't mean, and I'm not saying if she says no, still go. I'm saying that it is up to the man to start the fire and stoke it into the relationship.
Then I'm just gonna be single the rest of my life then, because I've experienced different. Like
Yeah.
when I was in college, the girl that I was dating, we dated for 4 years actually, but the effort was I know, but I was like 18, but the effort was reciprocated, for the 4 years, especially when we first started dating. And I've been with women where when I'm not that interested, they're showing a big effort, but then when I am interested, I just don't have the patience for that. I'd rather stay single. So I mean, if that
What do you
works for
mean you
guys-
rather stay single? Do you not have? You don't have sexual desire anymore? Are you Paul, the Apostle Paul now?
He's celibate.
Yeah, but
Takes
come
too many
on, man.
hormones.
Come on, man. Like you don't think God's plan for you is to give that to you? Like,
Kids, reproduction, a son, a daughter. I mean, hello.
Of course, I still have that, but I don't,
You meet a little bit of resistance.
this is you're meeting a little bit of resistance because right now, all you're telling us right now is I need them. If I don't get women to really be as gung ho about me as I am to them, then I'm not interested. I'm like, but that would almost be like you would want women to act like men, because sure, there's going to be a level of reciprocation, but like to the gentleman was saying, you have to be the initiator and you have to be the one who not necessarily creates that desire, but you initiate the environment that creates the desire.
There's literally a meme that is says this, like the dad is like, well, you're gonna have to get a job, and the guy's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think that you could interpret some of what I'm saying that way. I think that there's obviously more nuance. No, I don't want her to have the exact same effort and be as pushy as like a guy would. When I don't want her to court me. In other words, no. But I also don't want her to act interested and then, 2 days later when I'm acting, or I don't know, a week later, just be a cold, disinterested bitch. Like,
Have
no,
you
I don't also want that either.
But then
Like,
but
that's a
then
turn off.
you're not being indifferent enough, and you're not being you're not being indifferent to the consequences enough.
What do you mean by that?
Do you believe that you're worthy of attracting the woman that you desire?
Yeah.
Do you believe that do you think God will give that to you? Do you think God has it in store for you?
I don't know.
But then perhaps your reactions to how people are treating you is just being reinforced by that first belief. If you're not sure, okay, so I ask you if you believe you're let's start again. Do you believe you're worthy of the woman that you want? Do you believe you're worthy of her? Do you believe you're worthy to attract her?
Yeah.
Do you believe God will give that to you?
I don't know.
Then if you don't know, then when people are treating you what you perceive badly, is that not going to be a bias? Because based on your uncertainty, you're like, oh my, okay, well then she don't want me. Maybe God doesn't want me to have this chick because she's acting indifferent right now. Maybe God doesn't want me. So why not get that right with God in the sense of, hey, Lord, do you want me to have this? And how can we build towards this? And how can I pray to you? And how can you speak to me about this? Like perhaps you need to get that. Because once you get that in order, if you get that in order and you're sure and you have faith and your faith is that clear and that single, then sometimes women are going to be a bit bratty. Sometimes women are going to be a bit wishy-washy, but you're just going to keep showing up how you want. Like the gentleman said, you're going to say, all right, you want to hang out? Okay, no. Oh, maybe next time. You're going to be indifferent. You're not going to be mirroring her behavior. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes, and I've started to go back to church again, like physically go back to a physical church again. Like actually, 2 weeks ago? So yeah, I was kind of burned from the ex's church and that kind of because I became a Christian in that 2.5 years ago. I wasn't a Christian prior. I was a conservative and stuff. But I think you're absolutely spot on. I need to get right with that second part. That makes sense.
So, and I think I missed it, but what didn't work with that e-girl or the trad, whatever conservative?
Being wishy-washy.
What was so bad about her?
She would fight with me like 4 times a week about just anything, dude. Like literally out of the blue. There's no, we were at a movie. The movie had ended. The credits are up. I took my phone out just to quickly respond to a few texts that I had got during the movie. And as soon as I put my phone in my pocket, she was pissed off. I wasn't the first one you spoke to.
Yeah, get rid of her. Get rid of her. Get rid of her for sure.
Holy!
Did you ever meet her parents though?
She lived with her parents. They were basically part of the relationship.
No, but you met them and you talked to the dad
all the time.
How did their relationship look?
Her relationship with her parents, or her parents' relationship with each other?
Each other.
Her mom and dad's relationship, you're asking?
Yeah.
They had what it seemed to be a healthy relationship.
But here's the thing: if a chick is acting bratty, you can basically disqualify her off of rules and proverbs. If she's being brawling or argumentative, you already know the Bible is just basically speaking to you right there. So perhaps you're just probably being pruned right now. God's probably just if what I just told you speaks to you, it's better to be in the corner of a housetop. If that speaks to you, then you're just pruning right now. But you can't give up now. You're pruning because if you're disqualifying women off of your biblical observations or instincts, then you just need to keep running. The race is not over yet.
You just got to go on to the next. You got to be able to say next sooner and quicker until you find that soulmate. But what did the dad say? Anything? Was he ever embarrassed about how bratty his daughter was?
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, he was. He would tell me.
Oh, that's bad. That means that he didn't raise her. That means that she left and she public school and he didn't. His hand wasn't there. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, you dodged a bullet there if that's the case. But I'm a firm believer in talking to the property owner first before. So I'm just saying, I'm like, take me back to the 1600s, talk to the dad first. Because I'm telling you, that dad, and I've talked to a bunch of dads, you know, that dad will tell you things about his daughter so quick and so fast. You don't even have, you can pre-check, what was it? You can pre-check the property before just by an hour-long conversation about his daughter. It's so good,
He
so
told me,
easy.
and this is gonna tell you everything you need to know. He told me one time, it was just him and I, obviously. He said, if I was you, like if I was your age and your
Oh,
situation,
no.
there's no way I could be in a relationship with her.
Wow.
Hey, so he just but at least he gave you a nice that's a really good layup to just say, hey man, cut your losses.
Bro.
Dude, you're being protected right now. You're not really being you're not really in the wilderness.
I really do
He
understand.
gave you the gold.
Like I understand like RC's like nihilistic view sort of towards dating because of like how women are nowadays. I really do understand. it.
All right, but
I don't agree.
let me give you guys some advice real quick on the back end, okay?
And then I'll say something after.
There's feminism. This covert feminist thing, this comes from the curse of Eve. You guys realize that, right? So you're not going to be able to get rid of or purge this level of combativeness, the attempts to usurp authority. Her emotionality is a gateway to all of that. Her being feminine, it's a gift and a curse, and the curse is her desire to rule over her husband, right? So you're not going to be able to mitigate it I'm explaining to you, you're not safe even in marriage. Women are still going to buck your authority. Women are still going to challenge your leadership. This happens to relationships. My marriage. This happens in other marriages that I've observed that I think are healthy. So you're not safe. Don't ever put your guard down.
Yes, but I would say that like when you see like
And my wife is very feminine. So even the most feminine women are still going to do this shit.
Yeah, agreed. But if you can find somebody that has either been liberated from that public school system indoctrination or like is homeschooled, you know, and the dad raised her, he cares. You know, you want a woman who's like loved in a family and taken care of and this and that, to where she can come into your life and hopefully, you know, you provide that happy nest for her. Like you're providing, you have, you know, we haven't asked you questions about like, do you have a job? Can you provide? Do you have a car? Do you have a house? You know, things like that kind of help a woman feel more safe with deciding to go with you and then have children with you.
And let me pause that real quick.
Things are important.
Well, once you land, I'll pause it. Sorry.
I just landed pretty much. I mean, I had some other things, but I forgot.
All right, no problem. Cavill, thanks for the compliment. Guys, we need the likes up. Here's why. I want to attract some feminists. I want to get the likes up, guys, so we can get some feminists in here, because I would like to debate them. So if you guys don't know, for whoever wasn't here the last live, this is the third time I had to reset. Someone literally tried to get me deplatformed by saying certain words that are not approved of. That to which I've been suspended for a couple weeks ago. They did that on purpose this time. It's rather flattering, and I thank God for it, because obviously the enemies feel a bit insecure about me, so they want to be dishonorable. But let's get the likes up, because I really want to get some feminists in here so we can get some blood sport. But the panel's open.
James, I appreciate that, man. I'm not trying to monopolize the conversation about, you know, my experience, but I think that was very wise and biblical. So I appreciate. Bro, I didn't know you were a Christian. I've seen your lives a few times. I've watched like clips here and there, but for some reason I just thought you were kind of like Myron Gaines red pilled. I thought you were that.
I thought he was Muslim.
Oh, okay. Well, wow. I'm sorry I gave that impression. I'm glad we're able to see eye to eye.
No. It's not that you gave the impression. I just saw the top of your screen, and that was my assumption. Because most guys that are anti-feminist and make content are usually red-pilled, and so I didn't know you were going to give me biblical advice, but I appreciate it. I think there's a reason that God had me join and talk to you. So
Yeah, I'm glad we had a conversation.
yeah, man, I followed you, so
All right, man.
I'm gonna keep listening to the conversation. I just don't want to keep, I think
Yeah.
I heard what I needed to hear. So God bless you, bro.
Yeah, God bless. You're welcome back up any time if you have a contention or if you want to spar with some of the harpies that come up.
Okay, man. Thank you. I have another account called Alt Right Corner, so if you ever see that one is me too.
Okay. All right, bro.
All right, man. God bless you.
God bless. Thanks for the follow. What is that? Is that a freaking? How would you describe? It's Ninja. Thanks for the follow. Ninja. Thanks for the follow. I can see why some women consider themselves feminists, even though I don't fully agree. Well, what are you implying? What are you implying, Samantha? That hurts my feelings.
You can see why. It's interesting.
Is it the way I look? KJ says, how does restarting the live obviate what somebody said on your platform?
On Charlie Kirk, we carry the flame. We are Charlie Kirk.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. It's a nice little strumming, but I don't think there was any chords hit. Can you hit a chord for us?
Yeah, probably.
Give us a...
Yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chords there, man.
Could we get like an anti-feminist song? Something like do you have like a women are property song or something like that? Like or Erica Kirk's property? Like, come on, give me something.
I do not align with the beliefs of this debate.
Oh,
Wait.
why not? Why not? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Well, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. Are you a feminist?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Oh my god.
But I do not believe that all men are bad. I just believe, well, I am a biological male.
Who hurt you?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you can identify that, but wait, why would you think that since you're a feminist, we would assume that you think all men are bad? That has nothing to do with being feminist, by the way.
Well, a lot of the time when I see stuff about feminism, it's basically a whole bunch of people saying feminists hate men when it really isn't.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that has
what's
nothing to do
your-
with feminism.
Not a
so.
lot.
What's your view of the patriarchy?
Really good question.
My thing is, I just I don't know. I'm not a huge thing of politics. If I had to say my main thing, fuck Nazis. Fuck Donald Trump.
I don't know if that is that TOS hell.
We're trying to have
All
a
right, cool.
conversation, little feminist.
Well, I don't think he meant it in a malicious way.
I also don't think
He's just young.
He knows what a patriarchy is, anyways.
Like I was trying to get his view and his definition.
Hey,
not just all this.
Well, let's just pause for a second, guys. Let's get the likes up. We just attracted a feminist with an acoustic guitar. I think if we get the likes up a bit more, who knows? There might be someone with a trombone, or perhaps an entire marching band. Heck, this video is, or this prompt here is not clickbait. I hate all waves. I will argue against any wave. Bring any of them up. I will argue against any wave.
What do you wait? Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Strummer.
Is this actually? Wait, are you actually anti-feminist, or are you trying to rage bait people?
No, I'm I am anti-feminist. I am anti-feminist.
I'm sorry, but I have to just admit for myself, I'm a sexist. I'm a homophobe, a little racist at times, arachnophobe.
Arachnophobic.
Yeah, and xenophobic, definitely. I think we need to deport a lot of illegal and legal people here. All Muslims must go.
Dang.
So, and I know that that's kind of controversial, but here we go.
All right. Well, how about this? Would you mind talking about homophobia, sir? Well, not you, but enthusiasts. Do you feel comfortable talking about homophobia?
Sure.
All right. Well, here's what I want to do. Because you said you were gay, right?
Well, I'm queer, which
What was? Well, be nice. Be nice. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. So here's how we do things
I
here.
think I just threw up.
Here's how we do things here. Gay, Mr. Enthusiast. This is not really a safe space. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna try and police. I'm gonna try and police my enforcement on the panel. But would you be okay if I locked our conversation about homophobia behind perhaps 4,000 likes? Would that be cool with you? I would like to gamify our conversation. How do you feel about that?
Sure.
All right, so guys, I have some really good points against homophobia and why I am not homophobic. But I want to discuss homophobia with enthusiasts. I want the likes up. I want the likes to 6K. I mean, if you guys don't want to hear it, that's fine. But if you can't get the likes up to
So gay people don't even make you even a little bit grossed out. We're at 4,000.
that doesn't make me homophobic though. Wait a minute. I didn't even get to set the timer yet. I didn't even get to set the timer yet. You guys got to get it to 6K in the next 2 minutes. I think that's a fair.
As somebody who's a performer, which I'm biologically male, but my gender identity changes. Identity, not sex. Sex is different than gender identity.
Okay. Well then. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see if they can get it for us. It looks like they're probably gonna do it. So. Now,
we're close.
do you actually play the guitar while we're waiting, enthusiasts? Do you actually play the guitar? Because it didn't really sound like it.
I'm in a band, so no, I don't really. I just kind of just strum and hope for the best.
What are you? You play wind instruments, or what do you play?
Okay, it was okay.
What do you play?
Well, I'm more of like a producer, but like I'll create demos.
Oh, okay, cool. So you do like some of the beats and stuff. All right. Well, it looks like we got to 6K, so here it goes.
I got a quick question. He opened up with the "We Are Charlie Kirk."
Yes.
Did Tyler Robinson do it?
I'm not.
Oh,
Feels very.
timeout. Somebody's audio is going crazy right now.
Micah.
So basically, as I was saying,
Mike, I gotta mute you for a sec.
the whole thing looks a little strange, just specifically because the bullet and the gun that they talked about that he used. There wasn't a hole all the way through Charlie Kirk's neck, which is just strange, saying that the bullet that they said was used would have definitely put a full hole through.
All right. So you're not that convinced. All right. Well, let me just honor my agreements real quick. So you said final it. You said you're not that convinced. Not 100% convinced.
I'm not convinced Tyler Robinson did it.
Okay. And before we start, Samantha, what's going on?
Hi.
Hello, Samantha. You're a
can you hear
feminist.
me?
You're a feminist, aren't you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are you a feminist?
No.
Oh, I'm
No,
completely
no,
wrong. My bad.
No, I wouldn't consider myself a feminist, but I think there's like gray area to everything.
Do you think women should have the right to vote?
I think it's complicated, but yeah.
All right. So you're a feminist to a little bit.
Well, because
Do you
I've
believe-
heard people say like, okay, if you're not on the draft, should you be able to make?
And what do you think about that? That's
And
a fair
I
point.
agree in that case, and I feel like everything can kind of influence war, so it's hard. I don't know. That's like a gray area for sure.
Okay, so you're on the fence as far as feminism, but you tend to sympathize with some of the arguments against it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I can see arguments for both sides.
All right. Well, I just wanted to pause because hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that with your likes, indeed did come a magical feminist appearing into the panel. So I just wanted to let that be known that your likes have not gone in vain. So now I'm going to honor my next thing. The first thing I told you guys about the 6K. So enthusiasts. Do you think if I don't want to be around gay people that I'm homophobic?
I would say that it's getting close to homophobia, but I wouldn't say it's all the way homophobic if you give me a couple of reasons on why.
All right, well, perhaps we can agree on the definition. I'm just going to type it up real quick. the fear, hatred, prejudice, or discrimination against people who are or are perceived to be lesbian, gay, or bisexual. And can we add queer to this? Can you and I agree to amend queer?
Yes, homophobia does include all queer people. All queer people. Gay people are queer. Lesbian people are queer. Bisexual people like me are queer. Trans people are queer. I am trans and bisexual, not transgender. I am gender fluid, which means I go through the pronouns of I sometimes I feel androgynous, sometimes I feel masculine, sometimes I feel feminine.
Okay.
Not like that's my gender.
So
identity,
that would
not
be
my
queer. That would be queer, and it falls on a wide spectrum of sexuality, depending on the scenario or the time and place,
Yes, that's my.
and the amount of alcohol, perhaps.
For me, no, I'm not.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm explaining to you. I'm not homophobic. Okay. When we look at discrimination, which is in the definition, the hatred, fear, or prejudice, or discrimination. The hatred, fear, prejudice, or discrimination against people who are gay, lesbian, etc. We have to look at discrimination. When I look at discrimination, I see the unfair or prejudicial treatment of people based on their etc. Right?
And I am gonna say this
Mm-hmm.
real quick. There is queer people who can be homophobic, which sounds crazy, but bear with me. People like James Charles has been incredibly homophobic towards trans people. Lily Tino is, well, I just consider not like her not part of the community fully because she's just strange. She talks about sex stuff out in the public in front of children, which have a bad name.
Would you say that could you see reasons why someone wouldn't want to associate with gay people just off of them being gay? A reasonable reason.
I don't really see a reasonable reason unless if they've had bad experiences in the past with gay people who've treated them very badly and they just, have problems like,
Wait a minute. Well, I don't know about that because that means if a group of black people treated you badly, and perhaps you own a liquor store, and maybe there's a subgroup of black people who have treated you badly by robbing you 3 times a year, does that mean they should be? You would find it reasonable for them to discriminate against blacks?
Not discriminate, but not want to be around. If they were discriminating, that would be racist.
Well, what if it's fair? Fair implies reasonable, does it not?
Fair implies reasonable, yes.
Okay, well, let me explain to you how I'm reasonable in my inability, my desire to not want to associate with gays, particularly male gays. When it comes to friendships, if there's a sexual element to a friendship, it's generally not a friendship.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there.
Well, let me just build the case here. Now, is it true that there's not I've been around gay people and I used to befriend gay people, and until I've one thing that kind of changed how I feel about gay people is a lot of gay people have told me there's a fantasy that gay men have of turning straight men gay. Well, is it true or not?
I feel like that is definitely might be true, but that also means you've been surrounding yourself with gay people who sound fucking insane because you just can't change somebody's sexuality.
All right, so here's the thing: whether somebody's sexuality can be changed is not really at that contention here. We're just talking about what I've observed of gay people. I also observe of gay people that they're a lot more promiscuous than men who are heterosexual.
Let me say that again. I did not hear you fully. My
So you agree that generally gay men are more promiscuous than straight men? Would you agree on that?
Yes. Not really.
Well, is that a yes or no, enthusiast?
No, not really. No.
All right. Well, if at any point in this conversation you feel uncomfortable, just say pineapples, okay?
I feel like it really depends on the type of person you're surrounded with.
All right. Well, just let you know. You and my word here is pineapples, okay? If you feel unsafe, if you feel uncomfortable, or if you feel marginalized in any way, just say pineapples.
Pineapples.
Well, it's only between me and enthusiasts.
It really depends on the type of person. It does not matter the sexuality.
Okay, well, here's how I think you're incorrect about it depends. Because would you agree that men tend to have higher sex drives than women? Would you agree on that?
Pineapples.
When I say men are more sexualized than women,
No, men tend to have higher sex drives than women.
oh, sex drives, I think it really depends on the person too.
All right, well, here's my evidence as to why that's the case. Women have a functional benefit of being more sexually selective because they have a biological baked-in risk that they're going to have if things go bad between having sex with another human, particularly a man. They have a biological baked-in risk that's more than that man would. Men do not have to deal with the consequences of pregnancy in the same way a woman does. Men do not have to deal with the biological consequences of men leaving. Men do not have to deal with the biological responsibility of securing resources for another child that she will birth. These are all biologically informed incentives that would lead to women being more selective. Would you agree on that?
I would say that's what? Sorry, give me a second. There's a lighter in my room. Reason. Oh my gosh!
Pineapples.
I'll be right back. You guys can talk.
All right. Well, we could just
Yo,
pause
James,
here.
I want to say I love your waves, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that, man.
They're fire.
You're not a feminist.
Nah.
Yeah, because most feminists don't come in with compliments. But
James, are you Irish?
no, I'm black.
Dude, I was gonna ask you.
Go ahead.
Do you have albinism?
I'm albino, but both of my parents are Blizak.
Oh, interesting.
Who was that person talking about? Being racist earlier? Who was that?
Enthusiasts, you're gonna need to come closer to the mic.
That person talking about being racist earlier. Who was that?
I don't know, but let's get back to the conversation about homophobia. Are you ready for that?
It was probably me.
All right. So when it comes to my observations about men being generally more promiscuous, or men having higher sex drives, it would stand to reason that men, when coupled with other men who have higher sex drives, it just means that there's generally going to be more sexual activity, especially when you couple them together in clubs with alcohol and sweat and music. And perhaps environments like enclaves of concentrated demographics of homosexuality. It stands to reason men who like to have sex generally more than women. If there's no guardrails, there doesn't need to be any chivalry. I don't need to open a door for somebody. I just need to look at a man and say, "Hey, y'all, you want to bump uglies?" And the other man's like, "Yeah." It's generally going to happen more than it would as far as the interactions between men and women. Women tend to safeguard their sexuality from men as like a signal of value, as a bargaining chip. Men who are homosexual are less likely to do that because they have a higher sex drive. So because sex is more flippant to men, well, it stands to reason that gay people are going to be more flippant with their sex. Therefore, they're going to be more promiscuous. Is what I'm saying incorrect? I know it's not absolutely true, but does that generally make sense to you?
Yes, I can see your reasoning.
Okay.
make an idea?
Does that sound reasonable? Has what I said sound reasonable at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so remember, guys, in the chat, you guys gave me 6K views or 6K likes because I'm trying to make a case for why I'm not homophobic. So we're gonna give an intermission here. I'll continue, but we'll just open the panel up for a sec.
Can I make a case for homophobia though?
Well, let's not cross the wires yet. Let's not cross the wires yet. Let's pause real quick, guys, because I just want to open the panel for some comments. But if it's going to go into an entirely new thread,
I'll go short. I was gonna say the case for identity. Whatever you identify yourself with, right? Your mind is gonna be zoned in on that particular, right? If you're identified with religion, you're constantly going to be warping your mind around different religious theological ideas of, in, you know, wrapping your mind in theology or whatever. If you wrap your identity in money, you're going to be all about business and finance, and you're going to make your mind zone on those talking points constantly. If your identity is wrapped around, and I would say this, and like being a homo, then your mind is going to be constantly wrapped around, and especially if that's your main course of identity, your mind zone is going to be wrapped around sexual, you know, ideas and fantasies. And so I want to say that your identity is a representative of your main talking points, how you portray yourself, and I mean how you're living out your life. You're going to be making that your consensus of reality.
Well, there's a movement called LGBT that sources its entire principle around sexual identity, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, this even furthers my point about now. I'll continue, but if anybody wanted to say anything, the panel's open for now. I was gonna give an intermission real quick. Panel's open though.
So like, just to open on that broad idea, it's like if everything is about sexual identity within the LGBTQ, then their main talking point of reasons of things that, you know, you're not going to be expecting. I mean, maybe if they're not their main thing, but you're not going to be seeing them talking about money a lot. They're going to be talking about, you know, their main course of subject, which they have wrapped their whole idea of themselves around.
Their proclivities or dispositions, i.e., their particular behavior around sexuality. It becomes like self-fulfilling or like a feedback loop. But the reason why yeah, go ahead, Samantha, or whatever lady that was.
Yeah. I think one thing too is that it seems like people kind of they put a big emphasis on like what makes a female or a male. Like if a female is masculine, that doesn't make her a man, that just makes her a masculine female. Or if there's a man that's, you know, not as masculine, it doesn't make him not a man. So
Don't be a turf, Samantha.
I don't even know what that means.
You sound like a trans exclusionary reactionary feminist to me.
What?
You never heard of that?
I'm saying, so like people might have kids, and it's like if a girl is not playing with toys that are like necessarily girl toys, it doesn't mean your kid's transgender. It just means they're not
I
necessarily.
feel like, I don't know why, I just feel like, Samantha, you don't really want to form like an actual position. That way you don't have to be, that way you're not like wrong. I don't know how to explain it.
Are you playing to the agreeableness of the crowd you're preaching to right now, Samantha?
Yeah, exactly.
Every
That's what I'm saying.
politician that we know.
Samantha, we need a hot take. We need a hot take from you.
Hot take?
Seriously, yeah.
Can I sing a song?
Know.
I mean,
Yeah,
let's get ones in the chat. If you guys want to hear a song, if you don't, give us a 2. If you want to hear Hell sing a song, give us a 1 in the chat. If you don't, give us a 2. And we're going to tally them up in the next 30 seconds. All right, we have I'm counting them.
Okay, I do have a hot take.
All right, yeah. Let's hear the hot take.
Mm.
Let's hear the hot take. What is
So
it?
personally, I feel pretty passionate that pineapple belongs on pizza.
All right, well,
That's not a hot take.
that's not a damn hot take. Quit being so damn milquetoast, Samantha. You don't have any crazy political views?
Is that not crazy?
No, let's do something political.
All right, well, at this
See,
point,
I'm sorry. This is why we need to revoke the 19th Amendment, bro. I'm sorry.
Hey, I need to sing a song.
no, you've been overruled. They don't want to hear it. The chat don't want to hear it. They gave you 2s.
Not okay to be gay.
Look, let's not inflame. Hold on. Let's time out. Let's pause that. We have a person who's gay on the panel. Let's not inflame.
Oh shoot! What?
Well, that's okay. Just like let him talk.
Yeah, well, the audience. No, hell. The audience has already decided you ain't singing. So no more singing for you.
Are you oppressing him?
I'm oppressing him. I'm asserting my patriarchal boundaries around your around your windpipes at this moment. Okay. So.
Guys, I'm gonna start a bath real quick.
All right, no problem. Guys, let's get the likes up here. Let's get some more feminists. Let's get ones who are a bit. We have any feminists in the panel?
Well, wait. I need I have a very good feminist talking point.
Let's hear it.
So, should feminine women wear pants? Because
Oh.
for me as a Christian, I think pants are masculine. I think if you look at it biblically and according to the Webster's 1828, a woman wearing pants is a woman trying to usurp the authority over a man, which is wrong, and women should be in their place and in skirt.
There are so many other reasons to be alarmed about women's behavior that their dress, pants versus skirts, is not one of them. We have
It is. I believe it is one.
I'll say to the.
I'm gonna scare the dude. I'm gonna scare the dude who just said that. I'm a biological male wearing a skirt right now.
Pineapples.
Yeah, but you don't. But you don't apply because you're a dude.
Yo, I'll say this to the Christian because people identify something with whatever aspect it is. So, biblically, if we're thinking, a woman's hair is her glory, and then a man is to cover over her hair, right? So we've seen it, and Paul talked about that a woman's hair is her own glory, but it is unfitting for a man to not have long hair. But then we can think back to Samuel, and also, I mean, even probably Jesus himself, and taking a Nazirite vow of letting your hair go long, because by nature a woman is to cover and have her hair as a covering. But this is where there's a breaking of the standard away from what is a culture identity towards something.
All right.
So
we have feminist women who are wrecking the United States of America politically right now. That is what we should be focused on.
So she's saying. Let's get rid of the right. Hey, look. Hold on a second. We can get behind what KJ is saying here, or Casey, KJ. Get the right to vote revoked first before we take the pants away.
Yeah, literally.
All right, so then let's get back to it. I'm gonna make the case. We're resuming from our intermission for me making a case for why I'm not homophobic. So we left off enthusiasts regarding my reasonable take at this moment about how I observe homosexual men to behave. So if I know that they're going to be more promiscuous, if I know some of them, perhaps maybe 30%, have this fantasy to want to convert a man or turn out a man that's not gay, well, it stands to reason that I shouldn't be friends with them because they're going to have ulterior motives. If I believe that a man is gay, and I believe he's gay, and he really has those feelings about other men, well, I would treat him the same way I would treat how I don't have friends with women. I'm not friends with women because
That's what I was about to say.
I'm not interested in exchanging sexual energies with women. And just because we're not copulating or not kissing and hugging, that doesn't mean that male and female energies are not exchanged. So in the same vein, I don't believe men and women can be friends. I don't believe, by extension, I could be friends with a gay man.
Spot on.
I agree.
As somebody whose sexuality does involve same-sex, I do believe that might be some men, but that is not all. Because personally, I think trying to convert to somebody to anything while trying to like just trying to do it is kind of weird. Like genuinely. Like,
But you personally might think that, but you have to step outside of yourself and understand the general statements I'm making about
Yeah, exactly.
men.
Like the world works in generality. Like it doesn't work like that. Like yeah, we get it that there's outliers, but when we're making an argument, we can't just talk about outliers. We got to talk about the majority. That's what's important.
So enthusiasts, at this point, has what I said to you sounded unreasonable yet?
no.
All right, well, does it sound unfair?
Slightly, you are not giving some people the chance to be friends with you.
But this is how we operate as humans, as far as I'm concerned. In economics and relationship building, we have levels of risk. And that threshold is different for others, right? Does that not sound reasonable to you? Some people are willing to forgive liars or forgive someone who's cheated. Some aren't. How we behave or how we cooperate with others or how we decide to deal with others is based on how much risk we're willing to take on. Is that not correct? Would you say it's unfair? Would you therefore say it's unfair for a man who doesn't want to be with anyone who's cheated before to disqualify someone who's cheated in the past? Would that be unfair of him to do? Because although that person who doesn't cheat anymore, they cheated in the past. So what? Does that make it unfair? Yes or no, enthusiast?
I'm so sorry. I just like kind of blanked out. I don't know.
All right, well, that's fine. I wasn't really concise with my words. All right, we as humans, we decide not to deal with people all the times, and we have our reasons and boundaries. And we also have our boundaries that are based off of our level of risk that we're willing to take. So one boundary can be, I don't want to be with anyone who's cheated in the past. Is it unfair for me to disqualify or discriminate against those who have cheated in the past? Is it unfair of me to do that?
I don't see why.
Is it or is it not unfair?
I can see some points and I
Well, enthusiast, by your reasoning, not everybody is a cheater, and not all cheaters who cheat in the past are going to cheat again. But that's not the point. The point is it unfair for me to not want to take that risk? Is it unfair for me to discriminate in that way? Yes or no?
It's not unfair not to. It's not unfair not wanting to take the risk, but I feel like discriminating is a little bit.
My phone's about to die.
All right, well, let's look up discrimination, because we discriminate all the time. It's oftentimes how our job market is based off of. Discriminating definition: having the ability to see, recognize, or judge fine differences between things. For example, how are felons discriminated against in the marketplace of jobs? They're discriminated by, if you have a felony or a history of felonies, we don't want to do business with you. We do not want you to be our employee. Is that unfair? That I don't want to hire someone who was convicted of a felony? Is it unfair for me to disqualify someone from employment? Yes or no?
What did this person just say in the chat, bro?
That was a perfect point.
Is this a joke? Fires, hush up.
I think it is.
You can't be a lesbian, man. What the?
Enthusiasts.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat and somebody.
Well, don't stare into the abyss. Don't stare into the abyss. You and I'm trying to make a case. I'm trying to make a case for why I'm not homophobic at this point.
I can see some. I can see some of your points, and I can't see others. I'm keeping my stance that I can understand some things you're saying, some things I can't understand, and that is what I'm concluding with.
All right. Well, what is it that I explained to you that you cannot understand, or that you disagree with?
The fact that you are you said that other people have told you that gay men
I've heard that from gay men myself. A gay man I was close to told me that. Two, actually.
They told you they wanted to change you, or
no, they said a lot of gay men, and I as well, do kind of have a fantasy about this.
Well, I do believe that is a crazy fantasy, and
so it doesn't exist.
If you talk,
I think that's a naturally built fantasy built around the persona you're made.
Wait, give me a second. What I'm saying real quick is if you talk to other gay people or queer people, they could probably tell you that is an absolutely insane thing, and I can see that happening, but I also don't understand why you won't.
All right, well, we can leave that out. I can completely leave that out. It doesn't hurt my argument. I can leave out. We can just delete the fact that I've heard from multiple sources, from multiple gay men, firsthand or secondhand, that is a fantasy that gay people have, gay men in particular. I can leave that out. That still doesn't defeat the point. We don't have to. My argument can still stand without it. I'm explaining to you, gay men are still more promiscuous.
Wait, hold on. Can this reasonable person please join? Like, did you see what they just said in the chat? Like this.
Cis straight men who won't date trans women are transphobic, homophobic. No, but this is Reasonable is making, but reasonable is making a take. Reasonable is making a take of what people would say. He doesn't. I don't think he believes that. Reasonable has been up here many a times.
Oh, okay.
Reasonable is the homie.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, enthusiast.
Oh no, I was reading the comment. You can still talk.
All right. Let's see here. Who got up? Just came up. Alex Gunter.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? Is that your actual profile picture?
Yeah, that's right before my wedding.
All right. Shout out to you, man. What brings you up today?
I just want to know. I just wanted to know what you meant by like anti-feminist
Well,
dating.
I'm gonna go troll Dean Withers.
All right. You're gonna go troll Dean Withers. All right. Let's. Thanks for having the conversation, enthusiast. All right. So, let me just conclude my argument here. The entire time, the gay person on the live, our good fellow enthusiast, explained to me after multiple observations that I even had him agree with, that my takes on how I view homosexuality and homosexual men to be reasonable. And when we talk about reasonableness, we have to. The reason why I brought up reasonable is because that's oftentimes how we qualify fairness. Is if it doesn't make any sense or if it's irrational, we would say it's not fair because it's based on irrational things. Well, I'm explaining to you rational, logical, inductive inferences about homosexuality as to why I would disqualify from associating with them. That does not make me homosexual. But the last thing I'll say is this, homosexual. That does not make me homophobic. But here's the reason why I brought this up. The reason why I brought this up is because people on the left, feminists, Marxists, they like to change terms, and homophobia and phobia was not how we observe it in the past is not how it's used now. And in fact, how it's used now is really to weaponize our baked in understanding of phobias. If you have an irrational fear of a damn spider, I mean, they got a lot of legs, they got eyes, they're kind of creepy. Okay.
But,
if you have phobias around things that are like knee-jerked or reflexive, that would be different than me not wanting to associate with gays. But what's baked into our unconscious understanding of phobias is like this irrational fear. I just broke down the case for observations around rationality, reasonableness, that to which the gay man agreed to. So for him to say I'm homophobic, it actually brings into question the way the word is used and how it's weaponized. That's all I'll say.
So you said you,
language.
you
Right.
said you don't want to associate with homosexual people.
Yeah, because they're
Did I
gay.
hear that right?
Because they're gay.
Because they're gay.
Because they're gay.
I think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but you could think it's crazy, but you couldn't call me homophobic.
I sure could.
All
You have
right,
an
so-
aversion to gay people.
Yeah, but I have an aversion to gays as far as association because I wouldn't want to associate them similarly because I don't like to have. All right, so are you gonna let me finish the point or what? So back to the point. When it comes to my aversion, I don't want to associate with them because I know men like to have sex. I know gay men are more promiscuous than straight men on average, and because of that, I know how men are. And just because they're on the same team now, that doesn't mean that sexual drive does not go away. So me having friends with a man, all right, man. So me being friends with a gay man is like having a friend that's a woman who has a crush on me or who would secretly like to date me. It's not a friendship. That's not a friendship. That's someone where there's a baked in opportunity, if it could arise, that we could have sex. That's not a
But
friendship.
you think every gay man wants to have sex with you?
No, I do not.
Yes.
Yes,
I do not.
because-
I do not.
Okay, what if a gay guy? Okay, what if a gay guy? is
So
like,
what you're doing now is you're mischaracterizing my argument because I didn't say all. I did not say all. I said on a balance of probabilities, most. I made the case for most. But go ahead, sir.
Okay, would you be friends with a person who is gay if they assured you that they are not into you?
No.
They're like, you're ugly, like, but I like your personality, but like I don't like you like that.
No.
Why not?
Because I have a boundary based on my ability or based on my level of risk tolerance. That's reasonable.
What do you mean risk tolerance? They told you they're not into you like that.
Wow. Okay, whether you trust someone is based on your risk tolerance. Thanks for the likes, guys.
don't
Josh,
trust-
thanks for the list.
You don't
Alicia,
trust them
Rose.
to tell you the truth on that?
I know that gay people are generally more promiscuous than straight men.
And apparently prone to lying, right?
No, it's just that
You just said they would.
no, I look at you, I look at what you've done, or I look at on a balance of probabilities how you behave, not your words at face value. Hey, I don't
You don't trust his words.
I don't commit crimes anymore. Are you gonna hire me? No, I don't hire felons.
Wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about? How does that relate at all?
The person could be telling the truth, but my tolerance for risk is still such that I have that boundary. That's a reasonable take.
I'm sorry, it just sounds weak.
Oh, well, okay, but it might be weak, but is it fair? Because you haven't made you haven't. Okay, so then what is your argument? Because at this moment, all you have is emotional appeal and ad hominem. So what is your argument, sir?
No, it's not emotional.
What is your
appeal. I'm just
argument?
telling you, my argument is that you are homophobic.
Okay, you're asserting what's in question. Wow, begging the question. Is that the best we got? Hold on, guys. Can I get the likes up? Can I get the likes up, guys, for begging the question? Can we please get the likes up for begging the question?
Hold on. You said that you don't have a fear. You do. You clearly do. You fear that they are going to try to sleep with you.
Every
It's a
gay
fear.
man I have ever known has their main goal is to convert straight men. Every one of them.
Okay. Well, everyone I've met has not. They're fine with straight men. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, I'm not using any anecdotes here. So let's look at some people in the chat here.
As long as it's not from KJ. If it's from me, you won't use the anecdote. But KJ.
No, that's a separate argument on her end. I just told you I'm a
He just said he's not taking any anecdotes into account. What are you talking about?
Gunter, 1 second. Jojo says, as a bi woman, I heard this a lot. Many even think no one is straight. Hey,
That's a crazy.
man,
Some think that,
main goal, she cooking. They believe sexuality is a spectrum and no one is straight. I mean wait, you can't. Why are you making a case for what the lady in the chat? All right, so hold on, Gunter. Are you saying that sexuality exists on a spectrum?
That's what I just said.
Okay, so then does it stand to reason that someone who's heterosexual might not even know that they're not as rigid as they think? If exposed to certain things, if leaned a certain way, perhaps with some alcohol or somebody touching your leg or your back.
I mean, preferably
Yes
not
or no?
alcohol.
Okay, no alcohol. All right.
I'd
Not
like for a person to
make
figure
it
that out
consensual.
on
We're
their
gonna make it
own.
consensual.
But
We're gonna
I'm
make it
just saying,
consensual.
Yes, there are
Wait a
lot of
minute.
people who have.
Gunter, are you not proving my point?
What point?
The point is, if you believe that sexuality exists on a spectrum, and perhaps with a little bit of influence here or friendship there or rubbing on your back a certain way.
I didn't say any of that, man.
So I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you, Gunter, you have a really nice name, Gunter. Gunter. I'm just asking you questions at this point. I'm asking you questions, but you haven't answered
You're
it
not
yet.
listening. You're not listening to me.
Thanks for the roses, Alicia. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Gunter. You're up.
With some introspection, some people figure some things out about themselves, and it's usually straight people who don't have that stuff figured out.
Yeah, perhaps a gay friend could help him figure that out.
Because being straight, possibly. I don't know.
Wait, you're nailing your own coffin right now. You're nailing your own coffin of your own argument against me. If it is the case that gay men perhaps will have maybe a political reason, or perhaps a sexual reason, or perhaps a moral reason that might be neutral or neutered from the outcome. Even then, it stands to reason that he's going to try. But Gunter, you gotta let me finish the argument. Well, perhaps you're not so secure in your position if you won't let me finish.
Fine, make your point.
All right, appreciate it, Gunter. We're just gonna introduce the next guest,
Okay.
Jojo.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hello,
I
Joe.
live in-
Wait. You have two. It's spelled twice, Joe. I can't call you Jojo.
Well, it's JoJo, but you can call me Joe.
But I like Jojo.
Either
It sounds
one,
jovial.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is, isn't it?
Jojo, what's going
People
on?
call me that.
Miss Joe?
Yeah. I am from California. I am I would say I'm a bi woman. I've had relationships with women. And I just have to say, like, I've been in the LGBTQ circle for most of my adult life. And one of the things I have heard from a lot of women and men is that they believe they can turn straight people.
Oof.
And they believe.
Yes.
No. Let me finish, sir. I'm not done.
No,
yet.
we're only.
No,
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're just going hallelujah. We're saying amen to what you're saying. We're not trying to cut you off.
They believe they can turn straight people, and they don't believe anyone is truly straight. They believe it's on a spectrum. So I believe, people are straight, but they don't want to hear that because they don't want to believe that. Because while sexuality is on a spectrum, it doesn't mean that that spectrum falls straight into gay. Like, there's different fetishes out there, different spectrums of stuff. But just because someone might like butt stuff with a woman doesn't mean they want it with a man.
Yeah, I can understand that. But if a person has
If you were to
a
tell a gay person that, they'd be like, "Oh, if he likes butt stuff, he's gay."
well, yeah, but even if they're wrong about that, their perspective on it would still influence them to perhaps say, "Oh, wait." So let's just say there's a scenario where a man who's straight is having a conversation with a man who's gay, and the gay man's like, "So, do you like having butt stuff with your girl?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." He's probably just the straight man is just saying it in confidence. He's completely oblivious to perhaps someone else's perspective. The gay person, like, "See, I knew he was a little bit gay. Wait a minute, he said he was a little bit gay in that way. And he's a little bit gay over here, a little bit gay over there. So you know what? I'm not so sure. You know what? I'm gonna try and push the issue. I might try and flirt a little bit here and there. I might try and give a little innuendo about my sexuality.
This is a ridiculous.
It's
scenario.
ridiculous.
And Samantha,
Oh.
I just want
okay.
to respond to Samantha in the chat. Samantha, it is absolutely correct. I have met people like that more times than I haven't. I've dated women like that have said, "Oh, I've seen women, friends of mine, go after straight women and then say, 'Oh, well, no one's really straight. Watch, I'm gonna pull that girl.'" And then
And hold on a second, Jojo. Jojo, apologize. I apologize to cut you off. But Gunter, you better not be a damn fourth wave feminist. You better not. Are you a fourth wave feminist?
I don't know. I have never.
Do you appeal to the intersectionality of fourth wave feminism, such that we must allow? You don't never heard of it?
No.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say that Jojo is a woman, and are you gay, Gunter?
I'm bi.
Does not her opinion of the matter have a unique perspective on this, based on your principles? So why are you rejecting it?
Did I say
Gunter,
I
you
rejected?
mean to tell me, Gunter, and your whole? I'm just curious. I want to hear your story, but I just want to. If you answer this question, can you answer this with it after your whatever you're gonna say? You mean to tell me in your circles you've never heard somebody saying that they can pull a straight person?
No.
Then you obviously don't hang out with the LGBTQ circles like most people. Because
Listen, we're going off of personal experience. I can only tell you what I've experienced. No,
Where are
I've
you
never
from?
seen a gay person do that. Most gay
where are you
people that I know.
Where are you from? What state do you live in?
Ohio.
Oh, that makes sense. I live in California. I think there's a lot more gay people probably here.
Well, I have met gay people. I had a gay boss. Okay, and he's a lovely man, and he was completely fucking normal. He just had a husband. I'm sorry. This idea that like gay people are just gonna walk up to you and ask about your butt sex with your wife to see if you're gay. Like, come on.
Mischaracterization. Objection.
What do you mean mischaracterization?
All right. So I'm not saying.
If someone told you that, you wouldn't think that they were a little gay if they told you they like to have butt sex with their wife.
I don't care.
Wait. So whether you care or not is not what. Damn, Jojo. Shoot your shit. Talk your shit, Jojo. Please.
I didn't ask you about. I'm just asking you, but what your feelings would be. I'm not asking about anything else other than what you would feel. And if you don't know how you feel, then I understand that you might be confused.
I don't care. Who cares if it's gay or
Okay.
not?
Okay. So this is called not engaging.
Because you know the truth.
That's not the point of the question. I just haven't
Then
thought
just
about
answer
it.
it. Just say no. Just say no or say yes. It's not a hard question. It's a question.
Jojo, why are you being defensive, Jojo? Not Jojo. Gunter, why are you being defensive? I know this is not a safe space, but why are you being defensive?
That's not defensive.
Because it's the truth.
You don't want to engage with hypotheticals from I might add. This is an ally. This is coming from an ally, Gunter.
Can I ask a clarifying question, please?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
The truth hurts.
Why does it matter whether or not the guy who likes to get pegged by his wife is a little gay? Who cares?
See, you do think
you
he's a
call
little
it
gay
gay.
if he does get pegged by his wife. So you answered my question with that response completely.
can think that if
Well, did you want me to answer the question, Gunter, or would you want JoJo to answer it, or both of us?
I don't care. Just who cares if it's gay or not? Who
Well,
cares?
all right. So okay.
No,
So here's
you
the
didn't say
thing.
that at first. You
Here's
said
the
you
thing,
said if it's
JoJo. Or I'm sorry, JoJo. I don't know why. If it's because you're gay, I keep calling you or bisexual. My bad. Gunter. When it comes to your apathy about it, or you treating it so flippantly about who cares, well, it stands to reason that people on the opposite side of the political aisle and the moral aisle or the religious aisle are going to say it does matter. You're saying it doesn't. Who cares if someone's gay or not? I would say it does matter because
But in terms of liking butt stuff, like
No,
whether
but
or
I'm
not
just
that makes
saying, like
them
he
gay,
mentioned
that's their
earlier,
business.
how if he had a friend and he didn't know if he was hitting on him or not, that's what he's referring to. Because we have to be honest with ourselves in the LGBTQ community. If we
Okay,
want
I'm
people to be
sorry.
honest
At,
as
at,
well.
at a certain point, it's your responsibility to pick up if somebody's hitting on you, and if you don't, or if you're not comfortable with it, tell them to stop. Just man up and do that. Like, why do you have to be sus with every gay
Right, but when
person?
people act like you and
are
they're
scared of
indirect
them.
with their
You
responses
are
and not
scared of them.
honest, that makes
Oh,
things hard.
I'm scared. They make me shiver in my boots. I'm so scared.
Probably do.
Shiver me
You
timbers,
imagine-
man.
You imagine them hitting on you like they hit on a woman, and that makes you very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm actually so.
No. Men hit on each other very
It's just
differently.
because I'm not. Okay, so
Women
I-
hit on each other differently than they do
Yeah, I
with
mean,
men.
to be honest, like a gay person hitting on me is like definitely in like the top 10 biggest fears. To be
it's repulsive. It's repulsive. It's repulsive.
See?
yeah,
It-
it
it-
would
it
be
keeps
as
you
a
up
straight
at night.
heterosexual male. Yeah, that'd be a little repulsive. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying, why are you repulsed by it? Oh my God, Gunter, are you saying? Are you mad? Are you saying we should not be repulsed by it, Gunter? Is that what you're implying?
I don't think you should be repulsed by it.
Well, hold on. I think this is a really interesting question, Jojo. Gunter, is it your position that I shouldn't be impulsed by it or repulsed by it?
Repulsed by people being gay? Yeah. I
No,
think you-
gay towards me.
No, like approaching us
towards
and
you?
like trying to like
Hit on
do
me.
respectfully.
Advance towards
women
me.
like you?
Come again?
Well, no, because we're straight.
What if a really fat woman liked you?
I mean,
I was gonna say the same. thing
but
about
she
the woman
wouldn't.
gorilla.
I wouldn't be as repulsed as a gay dude doing it.
As repulsed,
Yeah.
but you would be a
Because at
little
least she got. At least she got potential.
I think there needs to be like an understanding here because I don't think it's repulsive for somebody to hit on a straight person. It's repulsive when they know they're straight and they've made that clear and they continue to do so.
Well, that's your Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on,
If a
Jojo.
man
Jojo,
came up
no.
to
Let me.
and
Let
hit on
me. Wait a
and I
minute.
told them I wasn't interested and they kept pursuing me.
Yeah, but
I would find that
I'm
repulsive.
repulsed. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Regardless of whether a person knows they're gay or not, it's still gonna be repulsive if a gay dude is hitting on a straight man. If I'm straight and a dude's like, "Man, you're pretty hot," I'm gonna be like,
But
I'm
what
gonna
if they
be.
don't know you're straight?
You can just look. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they don't
All right,
know
but-
that you're straight, then
Well,
it's
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I'm trying to get to you. Here's the funny part about this is there's an elephant in the room, and here's the elephant. Heterosexual sentimentalities around homosexuality and queer, or the outside of heteronormative behaviors, we have different processing about it. And at this point, what's going on is you guys haven't made a case for why we shouldn't be. Because if it is the case that there's a natural inclination for people to be repulsed by homosexuality, you guys saying, well, it shouldn't be that way, and why is it that way? Well, you have to make a case for why it shouldn't be.
Who
Look,
has
it may be a natural instinct, but we have the ability at this time to have the intelligence to understand and to have self-control and at least not make.
Okay, so
impulsive
Jojo,
thinking.
But that comes, but hold on, the processing, but Jojo, the processing, yeah, I'm not saying you can't be kind. That's all I'm explaining. I'm just saying,
You can, as long
I'm not
as
saying
you're
you can't be
being
kind.
repulsive in the way where it's like, oh, you know, like, how dare you think I'm cute and stuff. You can just look at somebody and be like, oh, you know, I appreciate that. That was flattering, but
Yeah, but
I'm
that,
not
but
gay."
but I can still be disgusted and still be respectful, right? I can still have,
Yeah.
I can still have absolute
When you
disgust.
say repulsive, it
however
kind of
you
gives a
want.
vibe that you're going to be kind of out of pocket. And I
Yeah,
feel
but-
like the better word would be, you know, I don't find that attractive. You know,
No, like I would.
repulsive is a really not the best word to describe
All right.
something
Well,
like that.
well, here's how it does. Here's how it does. Okay. Okay. Here. Yeah. You just don't like the word, but don't try and tone police the word.
I can't listen. I can't reach into your brain and force you to feel a type of way about somebody hitting on you. Okay, if you feel disgusted, then sure. Maybe he's a fat, hideous.
No, he could be a super gay dude with a super pec with super muscles. That might be even gayer. That might be more of a threat.
I would just. That's like if you feel a little weird about it when somebody hits on you, you can feel a little weird about it. That's fine. But like you're specifically disgusted because they're gay.
Yeah, because I'm straight. Because I'm straight. Because I'm straight. What do you mean? Are not gay people repulsed by? Are not gay men repulsed by a vagina sometimes?
Fine, you can feel that.
Wow.
A little disgust, I can understand that, but like not associating with gay people at all.
Well,
Like, isn't that a little far?
no, because I've made I've made the case.
Good question, James. I always wondered that. Like, are gay people like repulsed by like a vagina? Like,
I think
always
some of
wondered
them
that.
are. The more bisexual you are, the less you will be. But obviously,
I
but
had a friend grow up and he had sex with a girl.
Jojo. Someone wanted to ask a question. I'm not sure who it was. Was
Yeah,
it
I did.
Samantha?
So if it's a situation where it's your own family member and they're gay, would you still feel?
It's still icky. Yes.
But you
Yeah.
wouldn't like. You wouldn't even like
Mm.
be okay with them in your.
No, because it's sad. It's well, I mean, this is gonna go down a different road, but I mean, it's icky for other reasons. Like his lineage is gonna die.
like,
His
you're-
lineage is
you're-
gonna die with
you're
him.
going down the path of like, is it morally acceptable for somebody to be gay? That's more like the question you're kind of.
Yeah, oftentimes these instincts might be informed by our moral preferences or our sexual preferences, right? But I think that's maybe that's not really contending with whether or not it's fair for me to discriminate in this way, because at this point I have not been, no one's made the case that it's unfair. So just to go down the rabbit hole, or just to build the case again,
What if your kid was gay?
I would be repulsed by that. But it's not relevant. Whether or not it's fair treatment or not about me not wanting to associate with gay people. I'm explaining to you how it is fair, therefore making
Wouldn't
it not.
associate with your child?
Can I?
If once he's 18 and he's doing that gay stuff, he ain't getting no money from me.
Okay, can I ask you something?
Yes,
Why
sir.
do you not? Why is it so important that you're not homophobic?
To
Like,
draw-
Why is that so important to you?
Why is it so important? Because the claim about homophobia is, at this point, I'm showing it to be false. If I'm having fair and just treatment discrimination to someone, that's not.
It's not fair and just treatment. to
Okay,
treat
then
somebody
explain to me how it's
like,
not fair.
Especially your child, entirely differently based on who they love. Like
I can still love them and not want to associate with them.
you can't help what the heart wants, brother. What are you doing? That's your kid. Like you do that to your own kid.
I think that statement is not true. Can a kid diddler say I can't help what the heart wants?
Come on, man. Being
Oh,
gay
it's
is
different. That was, well, you just made an absolute statement. So is that absolutely true? Or are you going to walk back from
they're
that?
Hurting kids. No, they're hurting people.
Okay, so are you going to qualify that by saying what? So long as what?
Loving somebody without hurting them because you're in agreement, that's different.
Yeah, who are gay people hurting?
When you're both consenting adults, so don't compare that. That's just wrong. I look at me.
You made
I'm
the
gonna be honest
absolute,
with you.
y'all made the absolute state, or Gunter made the absolute statement. If I'm challenging him on his position of his absolute position and he's walking back from that's, you guys can tone police, you guys can tone police all you want.
I know I stand by my statement. Sometimes, yes, you're right. What the heart wants is violent and disgusting.
Great.
And with those people, if they can't control their urges, we have to stop them.
Okay, so then we can qualify it by saying, so long as you're not doing anything unconsensual, the heart can want what it wants and it should have what it wants, or what are you trying to say?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's let up the next guest here.
So how do you feel when a 40-year-old man is with an 18-year-old girl?
I'm
It's
uncomfortable with that.
Well, they're
Okay, hold on.
at least they can have babies.
That's a
Are
fact.
you that homophobic? Are you that homophobic?
Wait, is it true? Is it true or not? That what do you mean? How can
You're just a bigot.
how can two hot dogs make a baby, please?
Well, they can't. That's the point. Why?
Okay, so then is my statement true or not?
Some people don't want
Your
babies.
statement is retarded.
Okay, well, you're just getting back or blocked now because you're being TOS
So I
unfriendly.
don't. So you don't like what I say?
No, it's you have to be
No, it's
TOS.
just TOS to the platform. Like, you
Yeah,
just can't say that
completely
word.
completely R-slurred
Oh,
of you.
sorry. Can't say the R word.
Yes, I gotta let you down. You're welcome back up, but you need to police your own words next time, Missy. So
Anyways, I gotta go here. I just wanted to say earlier about the straight people. I'm not here trying to engage in all this. This is honestly like.
oh,
I
Dylan,
respect
nah,
people's
Dylan, you can't. Dylan, no, you can't come up. No, this is way, Dylan. I'm gonna Jojo. I appreciate you coming up. It's been a good faith discussion. I appreciate you being on my side. It looks like our side, we're going to diverge at the end. I appreciate your perspective, and you're welcome back up. Dylan, your ass better not freaking. This is a very sensitive topic, so you better be nice to the people on here who have different orientations, man. So you can come up, but you gotta. So the person right now, whether it's unfair.
Sensitive soul.
Go ahead, Gunter.
No, sorry, I was just making a joke. I'm a sensitive soul. Please be careful.
Well, I understand the topic is very controversial and there's sensitivities around it, so. All right, Dylan, if you want to come up, request back up, I'll let you up. So, Gunter, when it comes to homophobia, it's defined as having an unfair discrimination towards people who have a same-sex attraction or queer or bi, or but I'm explaining to you that it's completely fair how I'm treating them based on my observations that we can agree on. You've even agreed that you tend to take an opposing view about sexuality. I don't believe it's on a damn spectrum. But
Yeah,
if
I
you
agree with Host 100%.
But Gunter, if you believe that it's on a spectrum, if you believe that it's on a spectrum, Gunter, then your political views, your moral views are going to be such that you might even want to make the case to your friends, right?
Sure.
Okay, then if you want to make the case to your friends, then you're going to try and convince me, if I make you my friend, that being gay is just maybe a couple of points short or to the right of being straight. So therefore,
no, I wouldn't do that. Like, why? Like,
okay, so then you might, Gunter, you personally,
Great
okay,
point,
man.
Host.
You think that gay people are out to gay you?
okay, Gunter, just because you personally won't do that, that doesn't mean other people who like the lady was saying, the bisexual lady was saying,
Man,
don't
how
have
old
an.
are you? How old are
I'm
you?
33, sir. How old are you, sir?
33?
I'm
You're
33.
3 years older than me. I think you can figure out if somebody's hitting on you and deny them, right?
That's not what's in. That's not what's in question. That's not what's being contended with right now. What's being contended with right now is whether or not there's a certain set of behaviors that come along with being gay, and whether or not it would be in my best interest to make sure that I have a boundary around that, and that would be a reasonable boundary to have.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
What if
Host
he's
is
married?
awesome. By
What
the
if he's
way,
married? Like,
everybody,
there's
Host,
no chance of him hitting on you if
Host
he's
is
married, right?
There's-
albino. He's black, but he's got an awesome. He looks awesome.
Appreciate it,
But,
Dylan. Dylan, let's stay on topic now. Dylan, let's stay on topic.
Yeah, but everything he said is true. Like, honestly, W for the Host, and what that chick was saying before about the I don't think it's a problem at all. An 18-year-old woman with a 40-year-old man, they could have a baby, and they could have that beautiful family, that beautiful
Yeah, and
nuclear
also,
family.
yeah.
He's old enough to be her father.
Yeah, but like I said before, at least they can have kids on a balance of probability. Gay people are not going to be having kids like that. They're probably just going to be adopting. So that at most,
No, they shouldn't be allowed to adopt
What's
either.
the birth rate right
hold
now?
on.
Like 0.91. Like, come on, bro.
They
You
shouldn't
don't
be
need this
allowed
shit.
to adopt either, because I think that's
Well,
child
obviously.
abuse.
all right. Well, that's a whole. Well, Gunter, please don't engage.
mean-
Dylan is right now. What's in contention is whether or not homophobia is actually a coherent definition.
No, it's
And
not.
when it comes
'cause we're not
to
afraid of them.
when it comes to whether it's unfair or not, but what I'll do for everybody in the chat, if you guys want the conversation to continue regarding homophobia and me making the case for it, if you get the likes up to 19,000 in the next 3 minutes, I will continue. I have no problem with it. But if you guys want to go somewhere else more akin to the prompt, we can do that. I appreciate the exchange that I've been having with Gunter, even though it's spirited. But we're gonna need the likes up to 19K in the next 3 minutes. So we're just gonna pause for a moment. I'm gonna introduce the next person up, and I'm gonna open the floor. Amber, you're back up.
I'm back.
Are you gonna be TOS, milady?
I will not.
You won't be
I'm
TOS. That means you have to be
I
terms of
don't know what
service.
that means. What
Terms
is
of
that?
service.
Okay. Well, I will do exactly what you said, man. Now, here's my thing. Why are we talking about adoption? That's crazy.
Well,
because I was
someone
adopted.
posited whether or not we should have the ick towards age gap relationships, and I was explaining it's at least they're having kids.
No, yeah, that's a good.
So it would be
If
better
there's
in
an
comparison
80-year-old girl
to.
with a 40-year-old man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh my
It comes down to
gosh.
morals. It comes down to morals. What's
Oh,
your
it
morality?
comes down to morals. Now we're talking about morals, host. But
What's
yet they
wrong with-
think it's okay for
What's
two
wrong with
men or
talking
two
about?
women
Can we
to
not
be
have a
with each
free
other.
speech?
Seriously.
Like what?
Seriously? I'm so glad host is a conservative and Republican.
Okay, but he's not doing that. He's opening up the panel for us all to talk.
Hey, you guys got a minute and 50 seconds to get it to 19K, or else there's gonna be no more homophobia talk.
Thank goodness.
I appreciate the exchange though, but yeah,
Same here.
go ahead. The panel's open. I don't want to
W host.
monopolize here. The panel's open.
By the way, guys, host is my albino brother,
Okay.
and so he's black, but he's my brother and he's albino. And I
Dylan, are you a
believe-
Christian? Are you a Christian, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
All right, then we are brothers. So
Kind of makes me wonder.
Wait, what
Can
are
I
you?
say
What are
something?
you?
It makes me wonder.
Christian.
It makes me wonder if you guys really want to have a discussion or if you just want people to agree with you.
what makes you wonder that,
You
Amber?
want a discussion?
Gunter, what do you think about that? Do you think I've been fair trying to give you a good
Wait, host, if you're not
hold on a
Christian,
second, Dylan. Gunter, do you think I've been fair giving you ample time to speak, specifically because you're the minority position right now? You think I've been giving you good time?
I think it's been a fair back and forth.
All right, Amber. So what are you talking about?
I'm not specifically talking about you, host. I'm talking about the guy who keeps talking.
Well, Dylan is like a Rottweiler. You gotta keep him in a cage getting shocked with a pole sometimes. But when you try to contain him, it actually aggravates him sometimes, and it becomes more
Okay, well, then
unruly.
why is he allowed to get?
Because it's
aggravated
entertaining.
and nobody else?
It's entertaining.
So it's not entertaining for anybody else.
No, you just can't be TOS. You just can't go against TOS. You can be a little brat all you want to an extent.
Jesus.
Stop trying to. Why are you being? So here's the thing. Here's the thing with the patriarchy. Okay, on the patriarchy side, we allow women to emote. Women are going to do that sometimes. Women want attention. Sometimes women are going to pout. We just allow it.
So do men.
Yeah, like people that are for patriarchal systems, they're not against free speech.
All right. So Hatik, thanks for the follow. So we've missed the goal. So we're going to retire this conversation. We're going to get closer towards the prompt.
Patriarch is definitely not over.
Yeah. So let's see, Amber or Gunter. You guys seem to be the only feminists on the panel. Is there any other feminists on the panel?
Nice. We got feminists on the panel.
Are there any other feminists on the panel? Is it just Gunter and Amber?
What is feminist to you?
Feminism is the movement towards equality amongst the sexes with the moving away from patriarchy. Do you guys disagree with the definition?
Nope, I agree.
All right,
Why are you
Riel.
against it?
Riel, come
that'll
up.
Never happened.
Riel, come up. Dylan, stop with the quips. Let us if you're gonna give us a quip, it needs to be to the point and sparse, but also good.
I think women
Riel.
should have the equality, the freedom to choose if they want.
All right.
What they want to do in life.
So what wave do you guys? I mean, I tend to like to. I can argue any wave. I disagree with all of them. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about sexual liberation?
W host.
Not good.
Samantha says not good.
So what do you mean by sexual liberation? Like being free to have sex?
Yeah. So let's constrain it a bit for the prompt to what the audience wanted. No, you're fine. So when it comes to sexual liberation, how I'm defining it is how women were encouraged to live outside of monogamous relationships and pursue.
It's different for men.
All right,
How is
so
it different?
okay,
It's
but
like
here's hold on, guys. I want you guys to notice how her presumption of equality is the reason why she's raising the objection in the first place. But let me finish the point. That it should be a thing that women do, and feminism promotes it as a principle because it has the added effect of getting rid of the patriarchal system and making things more equal. Would you guys agree with that?
What, like women just being allowed to sexually, associate with whomever they please? and
Yeah,
whatever
without consequence to an extent, right?
Yeah, sure. Like engage in that kind of behavior without consequence. I think that's fine.
All right, well, it comes
What was
against.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
Can
Gunter.
you repeat the exact question? I'm sorry.
What do you think it's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing when people are allowed to engage in that kind of behavior with whom they would prefer.
What about without
whether they're men or
consequence?
women or otherwise.
What about without consequence?
Yeah, what about the consequence?
Should there be consequences?
Not beyond like
think we're-
if they're being unsafe about it, then sure they're going to suffer consequences. And
All right, what about a consequence of men not wanting to date women who do that? Is that a fair consequence?
you have the right to date whoever you want. I
Mhm.
just question like I had an ex who was with 3 people before her. I just don't see that as a problem.
All right, so
I think we're seeing the consequences of it now.
seeing the consequences of what? Sexual liberation?
Yeah, like the amount of abortions that are happening a year, and I
Yeah.
think it's even used as as a birth control. To
Yeah.
some
So do you agree with that, Sam?
No, of course not.
You
Well,
think that's a terrible thing, right?
Yeah.
Unaliving little babies.
Of course.
Abortion is a political tactic.
It's a bit off topic.
it was supposed to be to distract from the. All right, so Riel, come up. Riel, if you want to come up, you're the feminist. We'll equalize some of the
And
distribution
when
here.
when we really get mad when you want to live our daughters.
Well, my question is, why do we always ask women this but not men?
Because men and women are different. Men and women are different. So
How are you different? Why do you guys get to do
We're
whatever
very
the hell you want but not us?
Yeah.
Because for a guy, wait, hold on, let me take this
That
one.
should be
host.
equality, right?
Let me take this one.
well,
host.
let me
It's
before
also-
Dylan, before we let you continue, is anybody who's not a feminist, anyone who's not a feminist, are you willing to give up your seat? Are you willing to Rosa Parks it? Wait, never mind, she didn't do that. Are you willing to give up your
Actually
seat?
refused to give up her
Right.
seat.
Why are we
Are
even
you-
in this panel? This guy's clearly
Are you-
super
All right. Would you like to give up your seat? Because you can.
Sure thing.
All right. Peace. Oh my gosh! Let's tone police the entire conversation and not have any fun. This is what's wrong with women. This is why you shouldn't let those type of women on the
It's
panel.
not the woman's fault. It's just the entire system itself is just rigged. Alright, so like the
Riel.
civil rights movement started in the early 1900s.
Riel, you coming in real hot. Riel, you coming in real hot, man.
No, because like I was just talking to Amber and like she was just getting mad because she didn't know history.
She's just being too sensitive, right?
No, because I've been talking to her all day. It's just like the civil rights movement started, and then the feminist movement started. It was
Mhm.
because that the white men in power at the time wanted women's rights, specifically white women's rights, to be prioritized over black people's rights. That was just the main thing. Just that's the fact. Look at the order of the amendments. Not
Black
only
men were given the right to vote before white women. Fact.
but there was a fight.
All right,
Like,
but
after slavery
but the majority of men who died were white men, right?
It'll take a 2-second Google.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Happened?
What
Look
happened?
at what happened when the civil rights movements first started.
Well,
Women's
Riel, we're talking about race and the historicity of it, but what does it have to do with what was discussed before you came on? Because
Because like white feminists are the biggest problem because they
Oof.
think they're over everyone.
Oof. Well, Riel, that right there is that's also it's not really speaking to what was said. Let's just jump rope on this real quick, Riel.
Okay.
Am I pronouncing your name correct?
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so Gabriel, like the archangel,
Okay, cool, real.
Most people go by gay, but that's weird. Riel sounds way better.
Real, I think that's a tight. I think that's tight. Okay. So when it comes to sexual liberation, and me and Gunter were discussing whether or not it's a good thing, and right now I was trying to engage on the consequences. Should there be some consequences, and are some consequences reasonable? So the one that I said is reasonable is men not wanting to date women who have engaged in sexual liberation. The more they engage, it sounds fair that the more a woman engages in sexual liberation, the less men are going to want to see her seriously. Does that sound reasonable to you guys?
They won't want to settle down with
Yeah,
them.
because biologically, that's okay. So I remember my sophomore year in college, I took this sociology and anthropology class, and it was talking about mating in animals. So, humans specifically, because at the end of the day, biologically, we're all animals.
The patriarch's not done, Jocelyn.
Well, hold on. Let Riel talk.
I'm just talking from a biological standpoint. Women still forever, because of periods and menopause, they are born with the same amount of eggs they're gonna have for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like when a woman is born, they have all the eggs they're ever gonna have.
Okay.
And periodically, those eggs are going to be released, but that doesn't occur until sexual maturation at 13, 14, or whatever age, depending on the hormone estrogen that is introduced in the body. That's just I'm just speaking specifically from a biological standpoint. So that means that every month a woman is going to have a period. Every month a woman is going to release an egg. So, based off of the existence of humans, we have been conditioned to think, let's not even think. Women eventually are going to have a menopause because they're not going to be able to produce any more eggs. No more eggs. None. Ever, 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 ever again.
Where
no
are we
more
going with
eggs
this?
will be produced. For
Real,
the majority of women.
Real, we hear you. What you trying to say?
Stop this.
But for men,
he's
consistently-
monologuing.
No, he's
But
just
for men-
just let him keep going.
But for men, consistently, we're gonna be producing sperm consistently. So women have to be biologically more selective. Men, Hugh Hefner got multiple
Yo,
22.
Who?
He got multiple 22-year-old women pregnant. But at the same time, biologically speaking, women are less able to produce healthy children the older they get, and it caps out 40, 50. They will have Down syndrome. They will have so many congenital disorders.
I challenge that. I'm the product of a 53-year-old woman giving birth to me.
Well, hey, hold on a second. We can, hey, look. That's but outlier. But guys, hold on, guys. Let's tell everybody on the panel who's on my side. If you have an anecdote, it can be true. Both things can be true at the same time. What Real's saying can be true, and what happened to you can be true. It doesn't disprove what he's saying. So let's continue, Real.
Wait, can I ask a
I'm just
clarifying
saying, like, outliers exist in every situation.
Real, will you allow? I understand you're trying to land your plane, but will you allow someone to clarify? They have a clarifying question for you. Will you allow that?
Okay, I will allow that.
Is this an argument for or against feminism? I'm so confused right now.
I think what he's saying is an argument. It's an argument for sexual selectivity for women and less sexual selectivity for men at this point. Is that correct? Real?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, W real. There you go, buddy.
Humans are one. Google this. How many species stay where the male does not just implant their seed and dip?
So are you saying therefore men generally tend to be less monogamous by nature?
Yeah.
It literally every other species.
Hey, that can be true, but that doesn't explain.
Yeah, this man is a
Google
G.
it.
I'm gonna have to give
Okay,
this
but
man a
Literally
follow.
Google it.
But
Yeah.
that
Think about
W.
how many
Yeah.
species, like literally, like fucking Finding Nemo.
Exactly.
Like,
Okay,
do you
that.
know what clownfish do?
They'd
The
be
woman lays
crazy.
the eggs, and then the fucking male just squirts his sperm on whatever is more dominant. That's most of nature works where woman produces a limited amount of eggs, and then men just squirt their sperm.
Dylan, stop burping on the damn
We just
panel.
want to fertilize them all, huh?
That's literally biologically, animalistically. I don't give a fuck about social or religious, but like biologically, humans are the only ones, and then like certain birds. Look, it's mammals. It's literally mammals.
All right, so now that what Real has said,
Google it.
what Real has
Google
said,
how many-
well, Real, if I could, Real. So does anyone disagree with what Real is saying at this point?
No, I think this man is.
It's biologically
For the
true.
purposes of the conversation, it doesn't matter that much.
It's
All right,
biologically
so
true.
I think I can jerry rig what Real has said. Okay,
Just Google
hold
it.
on a second. Let me just
How many animals?
Real. Have you been
move on.
Real? Time out. This question is for Real. Have you been drinking? Are you currently under the influence of any substances?
Just this
Oh,
vape.
you're hilarious.
Huh?
Just this vape.
So you a little. Why am I getting? Oh, Real.
Oh, it's the vape.
It's because you put it on. I gotta drop you, but Real. Come back up later on with. Oh man, Real. I think you were spitting, man. You were spitting, but, sheesh. Real, I can't let you up. I can't let you. I gotta let you put. I gotta put you on ice for like 20-30 minutes. I even have to unlist my freaking live on the YouTube side. Oof, man. Hey, everybody on the YouTube side, I'll be back. Oof. Gunter, you have anything you wanted to mention? Because I know you're the minority position right now.
Yeah, I just don't think that anything